It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Wednesday, Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. by Dave. We have Simone behind the glass for us today as we get you to the halfway point through the week. Short week for some of us. So we're almost there already, Chris. We're almost there. And it's going to be a fun way to get there as we break down the NBA playoffs. And what do you think about as far as the Kings when you're watching the NBA playoffs? We're going to discuss what the Kings should be working on when they get in the studio, when they get in the gym, when they get in the booth, when they put their work in, just like Kyle Draper is doing. When they get in there in the kitchen to cook, what should they be working on? That's at 12:15. Of course, we have another mock draft. I'm looking here. I don't know, Chris. I don't know about this one. This one is from Hoops Hype. That is at 12 o'clock. We will break all of that down and let you know who that is. Chris will have some hints for you. We have fair or foul much later in the show. And we will break down different trade ideas and why certain guys are allowed to chase the bag and still be considered winners and why certain guys are not. But we start here with the T-Wolves living to fight another day. And, of course, we have more Mike Brown talk and those extensions. What do you think about Mike Brown? Great conversation with everybody yesterday. The calls, the text, the Sack chat. Let's keep it going. But, Chris, the T-Wolves live to fight another day.
Sure do.
And it happened, right? And they were really going to lose this game the same way they've lost other games, which is they're in control. They take a little bit of a lead. Then all of a sudden, Dallas Mavericks, you can't put them away. Then towards the end, all you have is Anthony Edwards, and Anthony Edwards is tired, isn't able to cook towards the end of the game. And on the other side, you got Luka and you got Kyrie, and that's how you're going to lose. But the Timberwolves were able to not do that, in part because of Karl Anthony Towns. I almost said Kyle Anthony Towns, like Dave was saying about Kyle Draper. Karl Anthony Towns showed up, and you needed him to do that. And you ask the question, is it possible? Is it possible for the Timberwolves to do the unthinkable?
I'm not going to go there quite yet. I mean, it's one game at a time. Definitely helps that they get one on the road. They'll now head back to Minnesota. That could be a potential game 6. In Dallas. If Dallas doesn't take care of that, I mean, you go into a game 7 and truly anything is possible. Shout out Kevin Garnett. But, I think Minnesota did what they had to do. I saw a clip of Kyrie warming up in pregame, actually, funny enough. And he said I exactly what I was feeling going into this game. This is their Super Bowl. This is the Timberwolves' biggest game of the season. If they didn't show up last night, it was over. The season was completely over for them. And Kyrie was like, this is their Super Bowl. This is just another regular day for us. And to me, that really showed out. And, a little bit in Dallas's effort too. They kind of went out there without the sense of urgency of closing those games. And I think that's okay. That's the privilege of being up 3-0 is you can kind of take a game off and, get your rest. And if you get the game, that's great. If not, live to fight another day. Minnesota's going full tilt. You can kind of take your foot off the gas a little. Now it's just on Dallas to you have to respond. I mean, you can't let this thing go 6. You can't let Minnesota. I saw, and I don't think you saw it, because if you would have seen it, I know we would have been talking about it. There was a clip that went semi-viral this morning. I'm sure it's going to pick up some traction later as the series goes on. Anthony Edwards and Luka Garza before the game doing the Red Sox. Don't let us get one. Hey, They better put us out tonight. They better put us to sleep tonight.
Right.
And what you don't want if you're Dallas, you don't want that. You don't want them to actually start believing, because once you start believing, that's when you get in trouble. That's when crazy things start happening. You let one shot that hasn't gone in all series long go in, and things change like that. And so if you're Dallas, you don't think much of it. You don't overreact to it. You just say, hey, Luka was 7 of 21. Kyrie had 16 points. This is the only game all series that Towns and Anthony Edwards have outscored Luka and Kyrie, and they get the win. So, I think you just kind of chalk it down as, it's tough to beat a team 4 times in a row, and you just better make sure you take care of business next time, because if it goes 3-2, that's when the conversation will start to pick up, and you realistically have to wonder, could it happen? Let's not forget last year, if I'm not mistaken, the Miami Heat went up 3-0 on Boston, and then they made that into a 7-game series. Of course, Miami eventually won that series, but crazy things can happen. And once you go to 7 games, everything's on the table. So if you're Dallas, you just got to avoid that.
Yeah, I'm definitely torn a little bit because I'd like to think that the Timberwolves are going to be able to win 1 game at home. So I feel like this thing is going to go 6.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if they're 2 dudes that would love to play that villain role and win on the road, it is Luka and Kyrie.
They've got the most wins of any team this postseason on the road as well.
So I'm really torn as far as whether this thing is going to come back to Dallas for game 6. I'm leaning more towards the Timberwolves just because it's crazy to think that they can't win 1 game at home. But if there's a team that would keep you from doing that, it would be the Dallas Mavericks because Luka, he loves to wave goodbye. Kyrie, I mean, Kyrie's done this for years. He loves being that antagonist and being that villain on the road. So, I think it could go either way. But by the way, your boy's stock going up. Kyle Anderson, that clip that's going around of him orchestrating and then setting a screen and this and that. So if you're asking me, is he moving up my list as far as becoming a Sacramento King? I'll take him, but I'm still eating a Carolina Reaper. That's not enough.
Absolutely.
That's not enough.
No, but you need support staff. You need.
Okay, but he's coming off. So he's going to come off the bench?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so is he taking Trey Lyles' spot?
Potentially, or a backup 3 that we just didn't have this year. I mean, to me, that's where he falls in. He's very Trey Lyles-esque, but I think that they can both play on the floor at the same time. Kyle Anderson is a really, really smart player, and not just in the clips you see yesterday, but just basketball IQ, knowing where to be on the floor. I've always been a really big fan of him. I just think he's a glue guy. Like that's his role, is to figure out, okay, what does this team need right now, and how can I do that? Sometimes he can be a great playmaker. Sometimes he can be a scorer down at the rim. And I just think he's a really good do-it-all guy that's going to be really cheap. And you see that he's on a winning situation right now. I would always sign up for guys who are actually getting minutes in conference finals games. Sign me up for all those kind of guys.
Yeah. Like I said, I would definitely take him on the Kings. I just think the Kings need another piece, right? Another one of those big pieces. And by the way, we do have a trade proposal that would get that bad man from New Orleans that everybody apparently wants these days, but there is a trade proposal that we will get into that will bring that bad man to Sacramento. So we will break all of that down as well. And that one is from Bleacher Report.
Yep.
So we will break all of that down. We're also going to get into some Niners talk later in the show. Ricky Pearsall, apparently you can be a reach and a steal.
Incredible.
All in the same draft.
Yeah.
Somehow that's
without
possible.
Playing a game.
Without
a single
playing
down.
A preseason. You didn't even have joint practices yet. Can we get a joint practice?
I don't even know Brock has thrown him a ball.
Yeah, but Brock hasn't even catching balls from coaches. Steal. First round steal. Is he the first round steal in the history of the NFL?
Yeah. Yeah, him and Lamar. That's it.
Him and Lamar.
Yeah, those 30-second picks or whatever, yeah.
Brandon Ayuk wants to get paid like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't think he's going to get the ball like Amon-Ra St. Brown, so I don't know why you would pay him like Amon-Ra St. Brown unless it's just on principle. But you're right, Chris. I am, the Niners, they are addicted to drama. Okay, and
they really can't help it.
They love a good soap opera.
Relatively no drama. Like the Debo Ayuks or the Ayuk, mainly the Ayuk trade stuff, but this has been relatively quiet.
I just feel like Kyle was just itching, right? You haven't played prop talk in a while or whatever it is. You just start itching. You got Brock Purdy. Trey Lance is apparently doing well in Dallas. I saw a report, by the way. Jimmy Garoppolo is gone. There's no more quarterback controversy, and Kyle just starts itching.
Yeah.
How can I need some drama in my life? It's not enough. So Brandon Ayuk, he comes out. Brandon Ayuk wants to be paid. You know what? This is a good opportunity to add some drama. Let's draft another. Everybody thinks we're going to get rid of one. We're going to draft another one.
You thought we were trading one. We're getting one.
We're not going to move anybody.
No.
So now we have the next Jerry Rice and Ricky Pearsall. We have Debo and we have Brandon Ayuk, and nobody knows who is going to be able to get the ball well.
Jennings, man.
We're still poor Jauan Jennings. We're still
Super Bowl of his life. Could potentially get Super Bowl MVP.
Tell him what they won, Johnny. Another wide receiver. And then I got to deal with Niner fans still continuing to say George Kittle, if he got as many targets as Travis Kelce.
Yeah, there's no way that he's just like declining, right?
Yeah. So this is what Kyle needs.
Yeah.
He needs the drama. He's addicted to it. So we will break down why he is addicted to drama. Ricky Pearsall and how he is the steal of the draft.
Already.
And he went from a reach to steal. Sounds like a 30 for 30 from reach to steal. So
What if I told you?
What if I told you? We will break all of that down. And Chris Haynes, okay, friend of the show, Chris Haynes comes out and says that, JJ Redick, good chance he will be the Lakers guy. We'll tell you exactly what he said. But coming up right next, I got a question. What's the difference between Anthony Edwards and John Morant? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento
Here's
Kings.
a steal by Fox, a breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. But one of the quirky things about the A's record so far is the way the A's have played a third of the way into the season against the National League. Yes, they haven't played the Phillies or the Dodgers or the Giants, but still, the A's are 10-5 against the senior circuit, minus 16 against the American League. And speaking of the Dodgers, they come to the Coliseum the first weekend in August.
Want more speed? Well, Xfinity just increased their internet speeds, and they're faster than ever. It's time to get more out of your internet with faster speeds from Xfinity. Now through June 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for only $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. That's double the speed for the same great price. Click, call, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and other charges extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
Well, at the very least, Anthony Edwards thinks that they will be back for Game 6, okay? Micah Parsons, Dallas Cowboys podcaster, player, was at the game and was rocking some Anthony Edwards. You like those shoes, the Anthony Edwards shoes?
Not really. I don't like him or I guess it's kind of an Adidas thing. The James Hardens too. They just like.
Well, I definitely don't like the James Hardens.
They're too big. Like they're too bulky. They look like they have massive pieces of like or I guess not styrofoam. Like, I don't know what the material. Foam.
Type.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very foam posity.
I don't mind those. I definitely
bricks.
don't like the James Harden ones, but I feel like I just wouldn't like anything that James Harden wears or does. But Anthony Edwards was essentially asked about coming back, right? And the way he answers this, it makes sense. What do you want me to say, that we're going to lose? But then he goes on to say Micah Parsons was wearing some of my shoes, and I'm going to bring him a couple more. Here it is.
What am I supposed to say? I'm supposed to say we're going to lose Game 5? No, I'm not going to never say that. Michael Parsons, he was rocking the AE1s, and I told him he wears size 14. I'll bring back some nice shoes for Game 6. That's what I told him.
So
is that fair or foul that Michael Parsons, who's a Dallas player, he was wearing a Dallas jersey, but there was a lot of dap ups with Anthony Edwards. Ant said he's wearing the Ant ones. I know. I would
Michael
just
Parsons
I don't know. If there was a Sacramento football team, I definitely would not want him showing up in Laker gear.
Micah
whatever,
Parsons,
you know?
but again, he wants to be a celebrity, right?
Sure.
He's cool with everybody.
For
Micah
sure.
Parsons, I'm sure he was dapping up Luka and Kyrie too.
I think, he had a Luka jersey on, like I said, but it's what you there for? Pat Mahomes was just there the other day. Him and Travis Kelce were rooting for the Mavericks, no problem. I'm just trying to be messy.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I hear what you're saying, but when it's cross sports now, because I mean that happens with a lot of these guys who have different fandoms from when they were growing up, and
I just would have liked to see Christian McCaffrey in a Kings hat. That would have been pretty cool.
that would have been nice.
That's all I'm asking. That's all I want.
I hear. We got Logan Webb.
Yeah. We do have Logan Webb.
And we will always
we'll get a
have,
Cy Young winner.
Yes, we will always have.
That's true. That's
Logan
true.
Webb. But I want to ask this question, and coming up next, we will have the update from Chris Haynes on JJ Redick to the Lakers. Also, Ty Lue signs an extension. So everybody is getting their money.
That's a great point.
Besides one man, the $1 billion.
The
closer is in. So we do have some news there. But I wanted to ask this question, and I got to be careful how I ask this question, Chris.
Yeah.
Because obviously there have been a lot of situations with John Morant, from the situation at his house with the kid that he punched, and then obviously the multiple situations with guns.
Right.
So I don't even know if I can properly do this, but if you think back to Ja when he was first really popping, just think back to Gritty Ja.
Yes.
Just go back to Gritty Ja, right?
The dude on what does Drake say? The dude in Memphis who hits the gritty.
Who hits the gritty. I still don't know if that was a shot or not. But
I don't get that. Yeah. It was
when I watch Anthony Edwards, and I liken Ja Morant to Fernando Tatis. You had the world at your fingertips, and you just kind of tricked it off for really no reason at all. For and Clarence parents have a real good marriage, right? You went to private school. But Ja Morant, when he was doing the gritty, and they had their situation with the Warriors, a lot of people didn't like Ja Morant.
Mm-hmm.
They thought that he was talking a lot and they hadn't backed things up. And I guess it was the whole team. You had Jaren Jackson with the whole dynasty thing.
Dylan Brooks
as well. I guess what I'm getting at is, why is it that people don't seem to have a problem with Anthony Edwards?
It's charming when he does it.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it something actually different with how Anthony Edwards goes about his Gen Z-ness and coolness versus Ja Morant? Is Anthony Edwards just cocky in a different way than Ja Morant was?
I think you kind of pointed at it with the Clarence thing. Honestly, funny enough, I think it's that Anthony Edwards is very much himself, and there's no Anthony Edwards is 0% playing a role. He's almost like Shaq in that sense, where it's just he's having fun. I don't know if you heard in the press conference yesterday, him poking fun at Mike Conley, him saying what was I supposed to say? Telling everybody, from in the Denver series, hey, I'm coming back to the Usher in Denver, and then now telling Micah Parsons hey, I'm coming back, and then Ja tries to do this, I'm tough,
stay on that side,
gangsta,
stay on
that side. We don't need whatever, he's playing the tough guy role, and I think that a lot of people, I don't want to say see through it, because I honestly didn't know Jaws went to private school before everybody said it, and put him on blast for all that, but. I just think that it just doesn't come off as authentic. And also, one thing is going to sell a lot better than the other. And I think being authentic, being personable, being funny is going to sell a lot more than, I won't say being angry, but kind of playing this tough guy role. And, when you don't win, or when you're not actually a villain too, I think it kind of doesn't hit as hard, if he's out here legitimately contesting the war, and it was a fun series for sure.
He ended up getting hurt.
Yeah, exactly. If that series is going 7 and Ja's having miraculous performances that are putting him at a different level, and he starts to become a real villain, I think it starts to hit. But I think it's just from in general with Memphis, it not even Ja specifically, it felt a little like we're looking for attention. The OKC stuff this year was fun. They were having the post-game press conferences, yelling,
or they're
barking at each other, all that stuff. That's fun. That seems funny.
Yeah.
The Memphis thing felt like they were trying to curate a vibe. They were trying to
entitle.
They were trying to become the bad boy Pistons without, I don't want to, I'm not trying to test no one's gangster or nothing, but it's I just think they wanted so bad to be the team that everybody hated, the bad boys of the league.
And they're not done. They're not done.
No, and I don't think necessarily that's fake. I just think that they played it up a little bit too much, and we never really saw their, like, I don't know anything about Jaren Jackson. You know, I think that we just don't know enough about their actual personalities themselves. And, you know, I think Ja and Ant they're both really exciting. They're both crazy in the air, but, you know, I just think the way they go about it on the floor too is a little bit different, just a little bit.
Wow.
But they're really similar on the floor.
Yeah.
That's definitely that's where
Ant's
I
a better
thought you were going to
shooter.
take that conversation initially with the T's. And, you know, it is like there's really not much of a difference when you look at Ant and Ja in terms of their numbers and in terms of, you know, impact. Ja, you know, just because I think Ja's kind of been forgotten because of all this scandal and drama and the fact that Memphis hasn't, you know, they got eliminated first round last year, didn't even sniff the playoffs this year. So I kind of think people have forgotten that, you know, Ja definitely can make some noise in the playoffs too. And, you know, it'll be really fun when he does. Like he's just as exciting in the air as Anthony Edwards. I just think Ant, you know, he's like 50 pounds heavier. I just think legitimately, I was looking it up in the break, and Ja is listed at 174 and Anthony Edwards is 225. So it's a legitimate, it's 2 inches and 50 pounds which is of difference. And
which
like,
is
I think
funny.
that's really where their play kind of separates.
Which I think is funny because I was going to say that Ja, to me, puts more pressure on defenses driving the basketball than Anthony Edwards.
He's a lunatic.
I'm getting fouled or
He's
I'm
like
getting this
Sasha
bucket.
with dunks.
Right. But Anthony Edwards is a better shooter
Yeah, I would think so.
than Ja. So, yeah, I was just thinking about that and just the marketing and, the face of the NBA. I do think that Ja will now have a different type of cult following, if you will, because there are people that love the underdog. And even if you put yourself in an underdog situation, which he already was coming from a small school and things like that. And wasn't he the story? The scouts were there to look at somebody. Was that him or Dame Lillard? I know it was one of the smaller schools.
I'm not sure.
Where the scouts were there to look at somebody else and he was in the other gym. It was either him or Dame. I know it was from one of those smaller schools. So he already was the underdog, had an opportunity to be the face. He's not done yet, but you got to make some better decisions moving forward. And you got to be relevant.
Just one point I want to add while you guys are here, and it's kind of drawn out in my mind. I feel like Ant is entertaining without being performative. So that's where there's a little bit of disconnect or a little bit of dichotomy, I think, between he and Ja. But I love Ja. I love Ant.
It's the everybody loves authenticity.
Yes.
Yeah. And once people Googled and saw Ja's background, right? It was almost like the Drake thing. You just can't look at him the same anymore, right? So the only way to power through that is to win and to ball out and to make it so that,
people forget, honestly.
Well, and again, these guys are so young. So I saw something with Kenny, and look, I'm not trying to take it there, but I saw something with Kenny on TNT talking about Kyrie and how Kyrie, you know, the things that he said like I said, not getting into it. Kyrie is a little bit older now. And I do think that we tend to forget how young these dudes are when they get in the league. And when you think back to you at that age of 22 or you at that age of 21 or you at that age of 20 with no money and still making bad decisions, what type of decisions would you have been making with millions and millions of dollars? That's not to excuse anything, but it's just to remember that the same way you wouldn't want people to put you in a box for what you said or did in your early 20s. Moving forward, I hope if they do the work and if they prove that they have changed
over multiple years,
then hopefully they can get back to it, because
for sure
he certainly is exciting. But that cornball, stay on this side. The gritty, I don't have any problem with the gritty.
That's fine.
I like the gritty, before my Achilles. I used to hit it back in the day. But you got to win games, and the way Anthony Edwards does it is just
crazy enough.
authentic.
As we're talking about maturity too, Ant is 2 years younger than Ja.
That's nuts.
Which is nuts.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if he can pull off the unthinkable. Coming up next, Chris Haynes has some things to say about JJ Redick to the Lakers. Also, hang on, 11 o'clock, Bleacher Report. New trade. It's coming out, okay? New article. You don't want to miss who is coming to Sacramento, according to BR. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out sacktownsports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on sacktownsports.com.
Contact tax relief helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call tax relief helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax relief helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
Welcome to the May Springtime Sales Event at Kia of Vacaville. Are you ready for an exceptional automotive journey? We're excited to present to you the pinnacle of automotive excellence, the Kia Telluride. As May unfolds, come explore the remarkable features of the Kia Telluride. Beyond being just a vehicle, it embodies a lifestyle with a seamless blend of sophistication and practicality. The Telluride is ready to elevate your driving experience to extraordinary heights. Whether you're embarking on a family getaway or navigating busy city streets, the Kia Telluride offers unparalleled comfort and innovation. Moreover, with Kia's unwavering commitment to safety and reliability, you can drive with absolute confidence wherever your adventures take you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Experience the exceptional Kia Telluride firsthand. Visit us today at Kia of Vacaville and take advantage of exclusive offers during the May Springtime Sales Event. Your adventure awaits. Kia of Vacaville, where innovation meets excellence. Model availability, lease options, and features may vary. Please visit Kia of Vacaville for more details.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
The countdown to Miss Twin Peaks 2024 is on. Head over to MissTwinPeaks2024.com to learn about the contest and cast your 5 votes for your favorite Twin Peaks girl.
The news on vapes talks a lot about the technology and teen use, but parents need to know more about the dangers of nicotine. So know this. 1. Nicotine is a poison that can rewire teens' brains. 2. It can increase mood swings. 3. It can limit attention and learning. So even when it comes in new tech, nicotine is brain poison. Go to undo.org for more.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, summer is our season. And we're kicking it off with a free 12-ounce Island Punch smoothie for National Flip Flop Day. Grab your flip-flops and head to your local cafe on May 29th from 2 to 7 p.m. Terms and conditions apply.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or e-gift card. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
In a world where everybody and their mother makes a primed trim board, contractors have to ask one question. Do I know what's under the primer? Available at just about every lumber yard you can imagine. Vintage trim boards are made from lodgepole pine. That's the stuff telephone poles and railroad ties are made of. It's durable. It's straight. It's been doing the job for generations. Manufactured right here in the USA. Ask for it by name. VintageTrimboards.com.
Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
We have a number. We will get to Chris Haynes on JJ Redick, but Chris, we have a number. This is coming out from Shams, Ty Lue, and the Los Angeles Clippers reached an agreement on a 5-year contract worth $70 million. Okay, massive commitment to secure one of the NBA's best head coaches. We did that math during the break. Chris, going back to Mike Brown and everything, 14 mil. 14 million. Ty Lue has one ring,
isn't it?
Okay, and a lot of people might say it's one of the greatest rings. The 3-1 comeback. We know the stimulus package that the Cavs got. He had LeBron, he had Kyrie, he had Kevin Love, but he got the ring.
Yeah.
He comes to Los Angeles, to the Clippers. Now, Clippers going into a new arena. You have to make sure some things are set in stone.
Yes.
A source told me during the season that some combination of Ty Lue, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George, all three of them would not be in the building.
Yeah.
They did not feel like, from what they've heard, all three would be in the building. Well, we know one is going to be in the building.
Yep.
And we are pretty sure Kawhi is going to be in the building.
Right.
And we're pretty sure James Harden will be in the building. So you can do that math. And Paul George is going to be somewhere else.
Seems like it.
That's based on what I've heard, based on what you've heard. So Paul George is going to be somewhere else as we get back to the Mike Brown piece of this.
Yeah.
So Dave last week said he thought the deal was going to be around 10 to 11 million a year. Okay, Dave says that the quote-unquote closer, he broke this during Crosstalk. That's why you got to hop on and listen to us during Crosstalk as well with Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross. Dave broke that the closer, whoever that closer is, was out of town. So they're definitely coming home to something that they did not expect. So the closer is now in town, and now that you see this number, Chris, even though Dave had mentioned 10 to 11 million, is it possible that Mike Brown's camp asked for more? Because it's 14 million a year. And Ty Lue, I think, is seen as a better coach than Mike Brown. But 3 million a year more better? I don't know about that.
I've got something for you. So you mentioned Ty Lue. He's got that one championship ring, which Mike Brown does not. But can I tell you some things that Mike Brown has that Ty Lue does not?
Please do.
And shout out Alan Cal on Twitter here who put this out. Mike Brown has more wins than Ty Lue, 441 to 312. He has a better win percentage than Ty Lue, 607 for Mike Brown, 590 for Ty Lue. And he has more Coach of the Year awards, 1-0. Ty Lue does have that championship ring, which definitely carries some weight. But, you know, if you're saying that that's the one thing that Ty Lue has over Mike Brown, again, I said it yesterday, if you fire Mike Brown, the candidate that you want to bring in is Mike Brown. The guy who has the resume that would impress you the most is Mike Brown. And so, you know, to me, 11-12, especially with Ty Lue at 14, sounds like a deal to me.
Yeah,
that
10 sounds
really
like a
good
bargain now.
Yeah.
I think 10 is now gone.
Yeah, I mean,
and if I'm Mike Brown or Mike Brown's agent, 10 is gone because you have.
And this
Ty
is the
Lue-
problem with waiting. This is the problem with waiting is that the price just goes up because coaches are going to continue to sign, and that dollar figure is just going to continue to rise.
I know that there have been some injury issues with the Clippers, but if we look at the rosters, and I know Mike Brown coached LeBron back in the day, but LeBron, he didn't have Kyrie.
No, he had Zajunas Ilgauskas.
Yeah, he did not. He did not have Kevin Love. So if you look, and this is what's so tough about coaching. People have kind of, and I don't think that Ty Lue is a bad coach, but look at who he's coached, right? Look at the teams that he's coached.
Yeah.
Now he's got Kawhi, Paul George, and James Harden.
And Norm Powell. Don't forget about my boy Norm Powell.
And Norm Powell.
Thank you.
And they still haven't won anything. and tell them what they've won, Johnny.
Yeah.
14 mil a year.
Right.
And they haven't won anything. Yeah. Meanwhile, we have people saying that Mike Brown hasn't done enough with Kevin Huerter and Harrison Barnes as two starters. And you have De'Aaron Fox. If you look at the Clippers versus the Kings and you look at those rosters, the Clippers probably have what? If you look at both rosters, what?
I mean, they have 4 Hall of Famers to start with.
They have 4 I forgot about Westbrook.
Yeah.
And you have probably the 2 best players. If they were to do a series, you would say, okay, Kawhi, assuming health.
Yes.
Kawhi, best player, right?
Yeah, they should have 2 of the. Yeah.
Who's the second? It's either Paul George.
Yeah.
Now you have De'Aaron third, and Sabonis 4.
Oh, you're talking about with everybody?
Everybody.
Yeah, I'd probably put Kawhi 1. I might put De'Aaron 2.
That's fine.
Paul George 3. Sabonis 4. Harden 5.
Then after that, it's probably more Clippers.
Yeah, then it's Norm Powell.
Yeah.
then you might slip Keegan in there. But
maybe.
Yeah. No, but it's their bench is incredible. I mean, they have 3 quality centers. They have Plumlee, Zubac, and Daniel Tice. They have a much better team or much better roster than the Kings do. Absolutely. No question about it. And I mean, I'm still there. I still want Mike Brown to get his extension. I think $12 million is no problem for me. Again, this doesn't count towards the salary cap. This is all just Vivek being willing to shell out the money out his pockets. I understand maybe trying to get a deal done just for the sake of or trying to get a deal on the contract because you're skeptical on whether or not Mike Brown. I know in their heart of hearts they're always going to hold on to this warrior belief that Mike Brown is their Mark Jackson, and they're going to eventually find their Steve Kerr to take them over the hump. But to me, pay the man. He's earned it. He's deserved it. I don't know what more you could have asked of him. Of course, make the playoffs this past year, but I just feel like he's done more than a good enough job to at least deserve an extra contract. I think 2 years is fine. I know that the going rate is kind of 3 with an extra year opt out, but if you have legitimate concerns, to me, that's where you can maybe get your side of the win. Mike Brown can make his money, but make the contract shorter. To me, this isn't difficult. I just don't understand why this is becoming so difficult.
Yeah, and again, you have Ty Lue coming out and the market. Okay, what if the market was 10, 11, like Dave said last week? I'm telling you, if I'm Mike Brown's camp, I'm seeing Ty Lue, and I respect the heck out of Ty Lue, but he's playing, like you said, with 4 Hall of Famers. He gets $14 million. Look at the ingredients that you guys have put in the fridge for me. We're doing 12. It's 11, 12.
Yeah.
10 is gone to me. It's 11 or 12, and you better also upgrade the roster.
Yeah.
Because again, the question becomes, how far find the best available coach that isn't currently coaching? How far does this team go? You still have the injury to Malik Monk. You still have the injury to Kevin Huerter. You still have guys just missing shots. You still have the growing pains from Keegan Murray. You still have De'Aaron Fox's 3-point shooting falling off a cliff. How far are they going?
No, absolutely. Yeah. And, a side note too is that I was just thinking about is, Mike Brown doesn't even really spend, like, this is kind of a problem where it's not like Mike Brown spends a ton on his assistant coaches either. Like Jordy was a guy that Mike Brown knew, wasn't the only former head coach that the Kings have on their roster, on their coaching staff, is Jay Triano. You look at the Celtics, you look at, you look at Ty Lue's staff. At one point, Steve Kerr had Mike Brown, Kenny Atkinson, and Luke Walton all on his staff. Like, I don't understand why they're being cheap with coaches. I understand that there's a really bad history with this organization, especially when it comes to paying multiple coaches at the same time. But to me, this is how you avoid that situation is by paying this guy and just letting him do his job, man. Like, stop getting in the way. You're building something positive. You're stepping in the right direction. The players have all developed positively under Mike Brown, which I feel like is an under-discussed part of all of this as well. I just can't figure this out. And I just hope that at some point here, very, very soon, I hope before free agency, we have about a month until free agency starts. I hope it's taken care of before then, because I don't know if it'll ultimately change or sway someone's decision besides Malik Monk's. But just in terms of regular free agents, I just feel like you don't want these kind of things looming over your head if you're going to try and do any business with anybody.
Yeah, it's just, again, it's not just for your present, it's also for your future. How do you take care of your guys? How do you take care of your quote unquote family? And everybody is always watching in the NBA and how you do things and how things get out. We went back and forth with Dave, and Dave saying that if it's from Woj, it's probably from the team. If it's from Shams, it's probably from the agent or their camp. Then I asked, well, why would the team let this information get out? And Dave didn't have an answer. He said it was a really good question. So not really sure what the Kings' thought process is, but again, very similar to the Niners. It's just unnecessary drama.
Yeah.
You don't have, it doesn't have to be like this.
No. And if I'm a GM, an opposing GM, and even like Monty's trying to make trades, I'm saying, I don't know. You seem like you might have a little bit of, if Mike Brown's still not signed, like you kind of have a sense of urgency to get these deals done, huh?
Right,
so,
right.
It might not be an extra first round pick or an extra player, but like, you an extra second round pick, 2 extra second, it could just, everything could be used as leverage. And that's why instability is just it's a killer for all organizations.
Life is about optics.
Yeah,
and these just
totally
aren't great optics. From the 916, nobody has done more with less talent than Mike Brown. Coming up next, we continue the coaching carousel as Chris Haynes has some things to say about JJ Redick to the Lakers. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles the man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/credit card.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton & Price in your corner. When you call Ashton & Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real-life person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Massive Memorial Day savings now at Maida Chevy with $12,000 off MSRP on every new Silverado half-ton 5.3 liter in stock after rebates.
$12,000 off every Silverado LT.3 liter at Maida Chevy with at least 5 at this price.
Massive Memorial Day savings up to $12,000 off MSRP exclusively at Maida Chevy at MaidaChevy.com. Sacramento Silverado headquarters. Together, let's drive.
Available with special financing, lease, and some other offers. Must trade in 2010 model year or newer. N6324.
Made a great deal at Maida.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sacktown Sports.
A little bit of news here before we get into Chris Haynes, JJ Redick to the Lakers. Also 11 o'clock, we break down Bleacher Report's new trade, which has Pelican star headed to Sacramento. We will tell you who that is at 11. A couple other trade ideas as well. Louisville officials have dropped all charges against number 1 ranked golfer Scottie Scheffler related to his arrest before the second round of the PGA Championship 2 weeks ago. So I guess all is well that ends well, Chris. That video, the video things seemed to be a little bit overblown.
Yeah.
With the dragging.
Yes.
Didn't really see too much of that. So Scotty can move forward and we can all move forward.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, it sounds like a very, very complicated situation. Well, I don't know if it's complicated, but it sounds like just a mess of a situation. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's probably for the best of everybody to just drop it and act like it never happened because I can see how it's embarrassing up from both fronts, but definitely the Louisville police officer definitely I think would probably have some things to answer if this thing went further. So probably for the best that everybody just says, you know what, let's pretend like it didn't act like this whole mess never happened.
I'm surprised they waited this long to even drop the case.
What was that? Like a week?
I know.
Or like 2 weeks?
And much? More evidence, that video, and then the sound that we heard earlier today was Yeah,
it was very, very interesting.
There you go. A little bit more news. This is more so for Chris and for you video gamers out there. Biggest letdowns from
don't listen to Dove.
EA. Well, it's from the College Football Report as well, because Dove takes everything.
Right.
No cross-platform online dynasty. That is for college football 2025. No ESPN presentation. No high school in Road to Glory. This is the one that these last two really killed me here. No mascot matchup. So they got rid of the mascot games. And no Gus Johnson and Joel Clapp.
No.
No swamp with no mascosts.
How much would you pay if they would have had Gus Johnson to just hear his recordings?
Oh my goodness. I would just be grinding film. Just grinding tape.
All the things.
Yeah.
You turn things into your ringtone. We could probably get tons of drops out of it. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for it. I mean, I don't really care about all that stuff. The no ESPN presentation kind of is a letdown. That's always cool to just kind of feel a level of immersion in the game. You really feel like, in the old the last like NCAA basketball game to come out, they had CBS broadcasts and they had ESPN broadcasts. And so you would kind of, when you're playing video games, sometimes you'll play like 6 games in a day and, it can get a bit stale with the presentation, especially. And so little things like that can kind of give you some extra
mascot game.
No mascot games.
You had tough, one job,
but like that's something where people play maybe twice, maybe if a friend's over who's a little more casual.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm not a game. I played from back in the day, so I played with somebody actually sitting next to me.
Yeah,
which the kids.
that's a
the kids don't do that.
Back in my day,
we
had a system link.
Mom, can I go over and play the game?
LAN parties.
LAN parties.
Is that what they call it?
That's what they would call it when like you were playing Halo and like you would all like. You bring your TV and you could, I think,
one person could, I could play with me and my brothers could be in one room playing all on split screens. And then you have a long cord that connects it.
Really was like a physical cord.
And you would connect it to the other system in a different room so no one could screen share.
Kids these days, man.
Wow.
They'll never know the struggle.
You know what? Just give me GoldenEye N64.
Oh, man.
That's all I need.
That's
now I'm really aging myself. All right, this is from
great soundtrack.
This is from Chris Haynes and the Dan Patrick Show, and this is a quote. I will be very surprised if their next head coach, talking about the Lakers, their next head coach is anybody but JJ Redick. Everything that I'm hearing is JJ Redick.
I think I kind of feel the same. Yeah.
I mean, we knew that this was a thing.
Yeah.
The mind game pod or mind the game pod.
Yeah.
All right. This was all a plan. Okay. LeBron doesn't just do things randomly.
I don't know. I kind of side with Rich Paul when he says, I don't know. He did a podcast with him. Doesn't mean he wants him to be his head coach.
But Chris, what do you mean?
I just because, I mean, we do a show together. Doesn't mean like, I want you to be my head coach.
Chris.
Don't hurt people's feelings.
LeBron is the most calculated athlete that we've seen.
Absolutely. Hands down. No question.
I just don't believe that those two things are separate. Okay, if you're asking me the question, hey, when LeBron decided to do a podcast with JJ, did he think if I do this, it'll position JJ in a good way to be the coach? Well, it depends on when the podcast started.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
I think LeBron probably when remember when we played that sound of JJ going off on First Take about media and this is what the problem is. I bet LeBron saw that and then reached out to him, and that's how it kind of started.
Let's do a deeper dive here.
Yeah, like I think if LeBron wanted him to be his coach, he probably would have been championing him as a coach, or like man, this is crazy that this man hasn't gotten a job yet.
But LeBron doesn't. He wants to pretend like he's not involved. It's
but the problem is
thing
if
ever.
It goes wrong, everyone's going to blame LeBron, and I don't think LeBron wants that. LeBron doesn't want the added. LeBron already has enough
We're going to
pressure
blame
on
LeBron
him.
anyway.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I think if they would have brought in some Joe Schmo, then it's
Chris,
the opposite of blaming
together.
LeBron. It's like, no, they're going to say, wow, you probably should have brought in it's a lose-lose either way, but I just feel like
Chris, we do this show.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's say
is that what
sorry.
Let's say Stockton Kings needs play-by-play.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. And they're like, hey, Alan.
Yeah.
We really like, or let's say I'm already doing it.
Right.
I'm already doing it. They say, hey, obviously you can't do it by yourself. Right. You need another person.
Right.
And I say, I got this guy. or I don't say that, but Chris Watkins' name is floating around everywhere. Is anybody going to believe that it has nothing to do with this show that we do?
But that's different.
How is that different?
Because that's like kind of the same job. We're talking about doing a podcast versus coaching an NBA team.
No, but it's actually a perfect example because it's similar but not the same.
Analysis.
It's analysis.
They're having conversations about basketball.
Chris,
I don't think that
down film.
Mm-hmm.
They're breaking down film.
Sure. I don't think that I don't think that means that he 100% thinks that JJ Redick is the best basketball mind out there.
No, I didn't say that. But he's better than
what's implied.
Who else was available as well?
You got Sam Cassell. You've got other.
Does he do a podcast with Sam Cassell?
He doesn't.
Okay,
he sure doesn't.
Then what are we talking about?
That's what I'm trying to. I don't.
Okay,
think
but
that
Chris,
just because he's having conversations.
But Chris, answer this question for me.
LeBron James is best friends with Dwayne Wade. Does that mean he wants Dwayne Wade?
Dwayne Wade wanted to be a coach. Chris, if JJ Redick gets made. What are you trying to say?
Juwan Howard and LeBron played together in Miami.
If JJ Redick gets made head coach of the Lakers, I'm
not saying he's going to be upset.
No, but I'm saying you're saying that this has nothing to do.
You're saying
LeBron has nothing to do with nothing.
I'm saying that the Lakers drew talked themselves into that. I think the Lakers
because of the podcast.
Yes, they can.
You're
connect
just saying
the dots.
LeBron didn't literally say anything.
Yes, that is.
But
what
that's
I'm
my
saying.
point. He didn't have to. That's why he did the pod.
But then Rich Paul comes out and says,
I don't care what Rich Paul had to say.
Why not? That's his mouthpiece.
Because Rich Paul is going to say, that's his mouthpiece. Rich Paul is there to say all the right things, but we know the truth. I know the truth.
The influence.
I don't think LeBron would be upset at JJ being his coach.
Sure.
I just don't think LeBron is in there championing, going in the offices saying, did we hire JJ yet?
No, but he's not going to do that.
JJ?
But he's not going to do that. He doesn't have to.
But he could do it
Mind
through
the Game
channels.
Pod is a top 10 sports podcast
we heard Sam
that
Amick.
you listen to
It's a great podcast. It's a great
every
podcast.
Day.
It's a great podcast.
So just stop it, Chris.
I'm just saying we heard Sam Amick say that Rich Paul directly came to him and asked him, hey, you going to vote for De'Aaron Fox for All-NBA?
Yeah.
So I'm saying if LeBron wanted to, he could easily have his channels reach out and have that message relayed. And the only message that has been relayed from said mouthpiece is, quote, especially when you see it in writing, just because he does a podcast with him does not mean he wants him to be his coach.
That doesn't seem suspicious to you? Chris, they don't want that
obvious,
but they don't want that out there. They don't want LegM. They don't want that out there.
Yeah. No, for sure.
They don't want that out there.
I get that.
They're not even if that is the case, they're not going to be open about it.
So you're saying that LeBron is just pushing behind the scenes?
Yes.
Yeah, I just don't think so. I just don't think he's I think the only time he's ever really influenced a coaching decision is when he wanted to get David Blatt the heck out of there. And they got Ty Lue in there. I don't know if, Darvin Ham clearly was not his coach's decision. LeBron didn't have any input on that one.
Which leads me to feel like the way I feel right now with JJ. Hey, you tried to take a swing without me.
But he's 40. LeBron's like going to be 40 years old.
Right.
Why would you sign up for a coach that might not even be here when Rich Paul again said LeBron's a free agent. He's not even the Lakers. He's not even a Laker.
Right. So how else do the Lakers want to help to keep him? By hiring their guy.
That he wants to hire.
But the assumption is based on what LeBron initially did.
Yeah, he did it, but he didn't say it, and he has not actively gone out and said, "I want Jay."
But he's not going to do that.
Why not? Why not?
Because
if everyone's already assuming this is LeBron's decision, I don't see what's the point. If everyone is already assuming it's LeBron doing it, what's the harm in him just going out and saying?
Simone is giving us a Dame Lillard. Coming up next, maybe we continue. Chris got me all messed up. Continue the conversation, but we will get to this Bleacher Report article. Trade ideas. Who's coming to Sacramento? And where's Jimmy Butler going? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
My father was a career United States Air Force pilot, and Memorial Day is a reminder of all he and so many others did for our country. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Right now at the annual Memorial Day sale, everything in the store is on sale. Everything. You'll save 10 to 25% on all living rooms, to sofas, to sectionals, to dining rooms, to bedrooms, to home offices, and so much more. Everything is on sale right now at Naturewood Home Furnishings Memorial Day sale. Whether you're looking to lighten the mood in your living room, brighten up your bedroom, or tighten up your home office, it's all available for you at savings from 10 to 25% at Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop the area's best selection of quality furniture at Naturewood Home Furnishing, off Highway 50 in Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
We all have some things from the past that we might regret, or better yet, might like to get rid of. I'm talking about that mistake you made years ago that still may be haunting you. How great would it be if that could be expunged and gone? Poof! Just like that. But where do you go for something like that? Try the Gonzalez Law Offices. Jonathan Gonzalez is right here in downtown Sacramento, and he's here for you. Maybe you need someone for wrongful termination. Again, the Gonzalez Law Offices. Go to saclegaldefense.com or call them at 916-304-9187.
Keep your family cool and comfortable this summer with Bell Brothers' best summer ever financing event. When you replace your AC system, we're offering 0 payments, 0 interest for 6 months on approved credit, then low fixed rate thereafter. That's right, 0 payments, 0 interest for 6 months on any new AC system. It's an incredible offer on an incredible new AC system, but only for a limited time. This offer is also available on any plumbing, water heater, or insulation projects over $1,000. So call Bell Brothers now. Your family will thank you, because they'll be cool and comfortable. But you have to hurry. Our offer for 0 payment, 0 interest for 6 months, then low fixed rate thereafter ends soon. Estimates and second opinions are free. So call now to keep your family cool and comfortable during Bell Brothers' best summer ever event. Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com. That's theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this, because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes, and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
Welcome to the May Springtime Sales Event at Kia of Vacaville, where we're celebrating the arrival of a new season with unbeatable lease options on our 2024 lineup. As May blossoms with possibilities, it's the perfect time to immerse yourself in the exhilarating world of Kia, highlighted by the luxurious and versatile Kia Telluride. Throughout the May Springtime Sales Event, Kia of Vacaville is thrilled to showcase our top models with irresistible lease offers. Experience the thrill of driving the all-new Kia Sportage, seamlessly blending captivating design with dynamic performance. Dive into the impressive fuel efficiency of the Kia Niro, a hybrid marvel designed to extend your adventures. Embrace the essence of spring with our eco-friendly Kia hybrid options, specifically tailored for those who prioritize efficiency without compromising on style. With the EV9 in stock, Kia of Vacaville stands as your premier destination for electric excitement. Model availability, lease options, and features may vary. Please visit Kia of Vacaville for more details.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sacktown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting sacktownsports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Chris was trying to be messy earlier with Micah Parsons and Anthony Edwards. I said maybe they're both signed to Adidas. And yes, Micah Parsons signed to Adidas in 2024.
Mm-hmm. Kids still rocking Adidas these days, I guess.
For football, apparently.
What would you put as the hierarchy in terms of if you were to see an athlete sign with, I mean, of course, Nike's probably number one in terms of it feels like Caitlin Clark obviously was always going to sign with Nike, but it's probably still Adidas too, right?
It's Adidas too.
I know Puma's trying to make their little rise. They have LaMelo.
I would even say New Balance is trying to make
those new ads from them.
Yeah,
you got
right.
Kawhi, you got Shohei. You got
I think it's still Adidas too, but it's probably 3 is just a mess. Right. I would say 3 is
Reebok's
probably
just
a mess.
Dead. Like Reebok,
they tried.
They had I think John Wall was Reebok for a minute.
I remember Converse. Well,
Converse is now Nike,
right?
Yeah,
because I remember
I think D Wade
was Converse, and then I think Draymond was and I don't know who's rocking the Draymond ones.
Crazy.
And then you have all the overseas stuff. Clay with Anta, Jokic with 360, who we just found out.
Right. I think Kyrie's the same as Clay.
Did you guys speak on Under Armour?
Under Armour, yeah. You know, I like to forget about them.
De'Aaron. When are the De'Aaron ones coming out?
I think the problem that I have with Under Armour is where is the depth? Obviously, they have good signature athletes. Obviously, Steph and Jordan Spieth when Jordan Spieth was at his peak, and,
right?
But I don't feel I think Cam Newton was an Under Armour athlete when he was at his peak, but they don't really
That's also a while ago.
They don't spread it out much.
Yeah,
all of those guys were
Under Armour actually had a They had a wave
now.
Yeah, they had a wave and it kind of hit a wall. I think Under Armour's trajectory was probably going to catch Adidas.
Yeah,
because when I was in school, so that's the 2010s.
Yeah.
A bunch of schools had Under Armour.
Yeah.
We were
we
were sponsored by Under Armour when I was at Temple.
UCLA became sponsored by
and
Under
now
Armour.
they're all like Temple is Nike now.
Right.
A couple other schools are now Nike. I think the big one was it UCLA, somebody like that.
Yeah, Cal. I think.
Yeah, Under Armour. I don't really know what their plan is.
Yeah.
I don't really know. And now,
what's the foothold that you're trying? Because I mean, obviously, they initially came up with the under
and
shirts,
then Nike
right?
and everybody said, "Oh, cool, we can do that too." And
those shirts used to be $60.
I know, and they actually don't even make them like that. And that material is now old. Right. I remember I was at the Nike outlet and I was looking for dry fit, right? And they don't the kind of shinier looking stuff. That's old now.
Huh? We're washed.
Yeah, we most certainly are, but not Kyle Draper though. He's still balling out of control in the men's leagues and things like that. Before we get to this Bleacher Report trade idea that Chris will break down, this is from the 530, Chris. Opening up the text line. A couple of you have come through with some good stuff as well. Don't want this to happen, but it would be the most Kings thing ever. to fire Mike Brown than hire JJ Redick. That's impossible.
Yeah, it's not possible.
That's impossible, 5-3.
Yeah, JJ.
I guess anything is possible, but that's impossible.
Yeah, definitely don't want that to happen. That's not possible at all. I wanted JJ to come here as a player, but I don't think he ever had interest. JJ feels like he cares about markets a lot. And I don't think he would have ever came to Sacramento. Would have been fun though, as a player. I'm talking about, but yeah, as a coach, there's no way. Especially for his first coaching job. No, he's not gonna.
That would
he's
be
not
a
actually
thing.
trying to grind. He's trying to just get the job.
If it does happen, we will replay this clip, and it'll live in infamy forever.
There's no way.
I will gladly take that.
There is no way. All right, let's get to this Bleacher Report article and who they have. Yes. Going to the Kings, and for what?
Yes, we're gonna save that one for last and make y'all wait. But first off, in the article, this is written by Andy Bailey, who's a terrific writer over at Bleacher Report. He's been there for a while. Did 4 blockbuster trades to move Jimmy Butler, Brandon Ingram, and Trae Young. First off, we'll do Alan's favorite, Jimmy Butler, who Andy has potentially going to the San Antonio Spurs. Not a name I've seen linked with Jimmy Butler. The trade offer is Jimmy Butler for Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, Zach Collins, a 24 first-round pick, a 27 first-round pick, and a 29 first-round pick. So 3 first-round picks, and I would say like 2.5 role players there. One a starter, one a young guy, and one just a role player. That's a very hefty price. Not sure how I feel about that. If again, Alan's kind of been on it, but if there's a Kings equivalent to that deal, feels like too much to me. Feels like way too much for Jimmy Butler. Obviously, I think a team like the Spurs can maybe afford to take that kind of risk, but if you're the Kings, I'm out. I'm out on that.
The timelines just don't match up to me.
Yeah.
Jimmy is going to be 35.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And, I think that he's in, there's also reports, which I think we're going to get into later, about him wanting a max extension as well. Yeah, it's when you factor that in on top of everything as well, that's a really, really hefty price financially and asset wise to get a guy who you point out is 35 years old. Trae Young going to the Orlando Magic, which is, again, music to Kings fans' ears. Get the Magic as much, shooting, ball handling that aren't Malik Monk as possible. Trae Young for Cole Anthony, Anthony Black, Jet Howard, a 25 first-round pick, a 27 first-round pick, and a 29 first-round pick. So, again, 3 first-round picks and a little bit better role players. 2 young players who were rookies last year. Cole Anthony, solid role player. 3 first-round picks for Trae Young. That would be interesting, of course, from the Kings angle. Again, just giving Orlando somebody who isn't Malik Monk and would kind of satiate them for the time being so they don't have to attack Malik. And the last one before we get into the Brandon Ingram trade is Donovan Mitchell to the Nets. And this is a name, again, we have not seen Donovan Mitchell linked to the Nets at all, but Donovan Mitchell for Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Thomas, and 3 first-round picks, a 27, a 29, and a 31. Again, man, 3 first-round picks just seems to be the going rate for all of these guys. I don't like that from the Kings. I think 3 is just way too much unless you're getting – I'm okay with doing it for Donovan Mitchell. That's probably like the lowest level guy I would be willing to trade 3 first-round picks for. And again, if that's the going price for the Kings, I just think you might opt out, especially when you see what Andy Bailey has cooked up for this Sacramento Kings, New Orleans Pelicans trade. And this is very, very intriguing. I think people in Sacramento are going to love to hear this. This trade, Brandon Ingram for Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, and a 2027 first-round pick. End of sentence. That is it. Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, 27 first-round pick for Brandon Ingram, especially after hearing all of those 3 first-round picks, only having one, having it not be this year's pick, and trading off the 2 guys that I think everyone's most comfortable leaving this offseason and bringing back in a guy like Brandon Ingram. I think that's what all Kings fans want. The quick write-up on this trade, reports in May suggest the New Orleans Pelicans will aggressively explore Brandon Ingram trades this summer, but it's fair to wonder how robust his market will be. Brandon Ingram, mind you all, is on a 1-year expiring contract. You will then have to re-sign him moving forward. So I think that's why there's only 1 first-round pick, just the uncertainty of what his future would hold. the 2019-20 season was the only time in his career he'd had an above average effective field goal percentage, and he barely got there that year. Now at 26 years old and coming off a postseason in which he averaged 14 points and shot 35% from the field without Zion Williamson. Still, he'd be closer to a third option with the Sacramento Kings, which means he'd probably face the opposition's best perimeter defender less often than he did in New Orleans. And he's a far better creator and distributor than either Harrison Barnes or Kevin Huerter. Losing the shooting of both of those two isn't ideal, but having three playmakers with Ingram, Fox, and Sabonis would give Sacramento one of the league's more unpredictable offenses. For New Orleans, this deal is a bet on Zion, who missed the playoffs with a hamstring injury but played a career-high 70 games in the regular season. It would be easier to tailor the offense around him, Barnes, and Huerter, both of whom are comfortable playing off the ball, than Ingram. The maximized version of Zion and the Zion-led Pelicans needs to be surrounded by shooting, let him create from the top, and have his drives flanked by some combination of CJ, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Barnes, and Huerter. So there's the breakdown. That's the explanation for why maybe people would be wondering, why would New Orleans do this? What does this do for New Orleans? Well, I guess it is a bit of, wouldn't call it addition by subtraction, but it's getting out Brandon Ingram, who's definitely the best, most talented player in it, but bringing in guys who essentially know your role. They know what they're out there to do. There's no confusion on usage percentage or anything like that. HB is going to stand in the corner, take shots when he's open, sometimes won't. And Kevin Huerter's just going to let that thing fly. I think there is some value in just kind of saying, Zion, you have the ball, you drive. We need you to be a version of Luka almost, where it's just get to the rim, draw attention, and have shooters all the way around him. It makes sense. I think the question, and when I put it on Twitter, a lot of people just kind of wonder, it sounds good in theory, but is that actually enough to get that done? 1 first-round pick, HB, and Kevin Huerter. And will there be better offers is of course the other question. Will somebody be able to top that offer for Brandon Ingram?
Yeah, the saving grace is only having 1 year.
Right.
But somebody will still throw an extra pick on
maybe.
That's what I'm thinking. And then the other thing is the reports on Brandon Ingram and the coaching staff getting into it about getting him the ball more.
Oof.
When you read when the write-up says he could be the third option, will he be happy? He's another guy, like you said, I don't know anything about Jaren Jackson Jr. I don't really know much about Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is he wants out of his career.
Nope.
If he wants to be a number one, if he wants to be a number two, if he's okay with being a number three, because then you still have the emergence of Keegan Murray. Right. So I think it could be a really good orchestra as long as everybody is cool with, hey, Brandon, it's your day tonight.
Right.
It's always going to kind of be Sabonis' day.
Right.
But it's your day tonight. It's De'Aaron's day tonight.
Right.
it's Keegan's day tonight.
There, man.
If Malik's still there. So I think that is something we haven't talked about as far as Brandon Ingram. How if those reports that we saw from the playoffs were true as far as get me the ball more, we just need to know more. Yeah, right. But I would still get him in the building and figure that out once you get there. And if you're asking me, well, what if Brandon Ingram leaves in free agency? Does it still feel like a good deal?
I think it's fine.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I mean,
those are two guys that you were totally okay with moving off of anyway.
You want to save less? You want to have lesser guys for more guaranteed years?
Right. For the flexibility of it?
Yeah. Or do you want to just take a chance and try to convince Brandon Ingram to stay?
Yeah.
Again, Brandon Ingram like big markets. What does he like? He's done the LA thing. He's done the New Orleans thing. What is it that he wants? All right. We continue the trade conversation. Also, we'll get into Jimmy Butler and why he's allowed to chase the bag, but nobody else is. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Kevin Huerter is Sacktown Sports.
Huerter's open, steps into three. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Huerter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or e-gift card. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, summer is our season. And we're kicking it off with a free 12-ounce Island Punch smoothie for National Flip-Flop Day. Grab your flip-flops and head to your local cafe on May 29th from 2 to 7 p.m. Terms and conditions apply.
We see a lot of news about teens vaping, but teens see something else. Videos on social media that glamorize it and downplay the dangers of nicotine. How can parents talk so kids will listen? Use facts. 1. Nicotine can rewire teens' brains. 2. It can make teens more anxious. 3. Changes to the brain can be permanent. So even when it hides behind a new look, nicotine is brain poison. Go to undo.org for more.
Live and local. Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
From the 916, 3 first-round picks is a lot. Would y'all add more picks, get crazy to get a bigger player instead of these players that have question marks like McCall? Seems like Kings will forever overpay. Get the guy you want. I mean, 4 to 5, no. You can't. 4 to 5 first-round picks. I mean, you'd have to give us a name, 916.
Yeah.
You'd have to give us a name.
I think the problem is, like, yeah, I mean, I just don't know if anybody is available. I mean, you know, Mikal Bridges is about as good as it gets in terms of people who are available. You know, Anthony Edwards is never going to be available no matter how many first round picks you throw at him. You know, yeah, we kind of need a name on that one. You know, I think 3 is more than enough to get. If you are offering 3 first round picks, you should be able to get just about anybody. 4 will really get it done. That, you know, at that point you're starting to talk Gobert trade levels, and you know, I just don't know who that person would be.
Right. Yeah. Well, keep them coming in as we break down what Bleacher Report had to say with Brandon Ingram coming to Sacramento for 1 Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes, and a 2027 first round pick. I would do it. I don't think there's no question for me. I would definitely do it.
I want to hear from the New Orleans side.
Yeah, the New Orleans side, Harrison Barnes, if he's just there to sit in the corner and shoot threes, and and Kevin Huerter, if Kevin Huerter returns to 2023 Kevin Huerter, then okay.
Yeah. I wonder what do the Pelicans want? I mean, I guess shooting makes sense again to just put around Zion, but you know, you've got CJ, you've got Herb Jones, you've got Trey Murphy. You know, Jose is going to get some minutes for sure. I mean, they just drafted Jordan Hawkins last year, who I know, you know, was a bit up and down, more so down at the end of the year. I don't, you know, at some point it's just how many do they need all of those guys? And, you know, I guess in that model, Kevin Huerter and HB are both coming off the bench. So you're kind of trading. I wonder how they feel about essentially trading Brandon Ingram, who is at worst their third best player, for 2 bench guys in a pick that's 3 years in the future.
Well, yeah. Ultimately, Pelicans, what do you feel like you're missing? What do you feel like you need?
And they're losing Jonas too this offseason too.
As we get into another player who has had a lot to say lately, and that's Jimmy Butler. And Anthony Chang, who's a Miami Heat reporter for the Miami Herald, is reporting that Jimmy Butler wants a max extension this offseason, preferably from the Heat. But whether it's from the Heat or another team, he wants a max extension. Now, Chris and I were going back and forth during the pre-show because, hey, obviously your agent is going to say things and push. But at the same time, Tom Brady had an agent, as far as I know. And Tom Brady sat there and said, I want to win, right? And Jimmy Butler, his brand is, I'll do whatever it takes to win. Now it's turning into, I'll do whatever it takes to win for the right price. Right. Okay, Jimmy Butler is going to be 35 by the time the next season starts. It feels like he barely played this past season. He was hurt during the regular season, then he was hurt during the playoffs. You couldn't even count on him. And he wants a max extension. I'm not pocket watching or hating on somebody for trying to get their bread. My question is, why do we do this thing where nobody is going to call Jimmy Butler selfish? Right. Nobody is going to say Jimmy Butler doesn't care about winning, or he's prioritizing himself over the team or a team. it's just this weird thing where certain guys are allowed to do it and certain guys aren't. De'Aaron came out about Malik Monk, and he said, hey, we only get to play this game for a certain amount of years. You got to get as much money as you can. That's fine. That's also something to keep in mind when it comes to De'Aaron a couple of years from now. And that's fine. So if Malik goes to Detroit, does he care about money? Detroit gives him 25, right? Let's say Orlando was going to give him 20 and the Kings just weren't in the mix.
Yeah.
And he goes to Detroit. Does Malik get labeled as a guy who just cares about money? Bradley Beal, name other guys. Oh, we got into it over Kyle Kuzma.
Right.
Because Kyle Kuzma went and got the bag, right? And reportedly said, don't trade me because he wanted to stat pad or that's kind of came off. Bradley Beal, for years, didn't want to leave Washington or wasn't outward about leaving Washington. Another guy that didn't really get brought up much, and I love him, Bay Area guy, was Dame Lillard. Sure. I thought for a long time, Dame could have left whenever he wanted. You know what I mean? Dame, there's this thing where I think Dame was cool just chilling and rapping up there in Portland, but kind of pressure of, hey, you have to want to win. So why is it that certain guys, and I know Jimmy has dragged 2 teams to the finals, and if he had more help, maybe he wins one. But why is it that certain guys are allowed to chase the bag without getting viewed as selfish or whatever it is, and certain guys, as soon as they do it, you're selfish?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a great question. I don't really have a good answer for it because I do think it's just kind of one of those human things that we don't really have a good explanation for why we do it, but we just kind of naturally are inclined to do it. And I think, sometimes it's a chicken or the egg conversation where Bradley Beal was probably viewed one way and then all of a sudden he gets the money and then it completely, just because you're not successful, all of a sudden everything kind of changes. It's a really complicated thing. I kind of wonder too, where does this, it feels like the quarterbackification of these payouts. I mean, we're talking about it when it comes to Mike Brown, but also when it comes to these basketball players like Jaylen Brown making the most money of anybody in the league. And I know that's kind of just a part of his extension, but where is the, I don't want to say humility, but a guy like Tom Brady's the perfect example. And I know, maybe that's the exception and not the rule, but Tom Brady was the best player on his team. Everyone knew it. He knew it. His agent knew it. And yet he still decided to take less than what could have been in order to build out the right team for him. Yeah. What's the fascination with getting, and I get it. It's a business. And, from the player side, I'm sure it makes all the sense in the world, but why do you have to take the top dollar in every single situation? Why is Zach LaVine getting paid $45 million right now when nobody ever thought Zach LaVine was going to be a player that could be your number one and be somebody that's justifiable to have on a winning roster and make $45 million? I don't really get it. I think that it's kind of, it's I don't want to say it's toxic, but I do think it mainly comes from the agency of, these guys being told, like De'Aaron said, make every single dollar you can while you can, because it will dry up at some point. But I feel like if you ask a lot of players, some will say, I care more about the competition. I care more about being on the right team in the right situation. And I think that, if I'm in a winning team and I'm making a little less money, maybe I'll make up some of it because I'm on a good team that gets marketed more. And
I don't know if anyone even does that in the NBA.
No, nobody does.
They all
I'm take top dollar.
I'm not saying don't. I'm saying some get labeled and some don't.
Yeah.
So, and correct me if I'm missing something, Chris. We're having all these conversations about Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is on contract going into next season for $48.7 million.
A lot of money. I think he has 2 years.
Then he has a player option
52,
for
right?
$52 million.
Yeah.
So what am I missing?
What extension? Yeah.
Why is there an extension
Why is he
now?
getting extended at 36, going into his age 37 season?
I have no clue.
Yeah,
and again, I'm not trying to pocket watch here.
No, but
career earnings, $263 million. And your brand is winning.
Yep.
$263 million, and your brand is winning, but you're willing to leave Miami where you said, I want to finish in Miami. He talks about D-Wade, talks about all this stuff. All of them. But if I'm getting the max, so if Jimmy Butler takes the max, who has money? Let's say the Pistons offer Jimmy Butler the max. If he takes the max and goes to Detroit, I don't want to hear it.
I don't think he will, but yeah, no, I hear you. I 100% hear you. Like, I think it is kind of crazy because essentially what Jimmy is saying is, no, at age 37, again, I will be worth the $50 million or whatever it's going to be.
It's a bad shot. It's a bad contract.
There's no way. If you're a team that's paying a 37-year-old, whatever, $50 million,
named LeBron James,
25% of your cap, you're a losing team. You're going to lose. There's no way Jimmy Butler at 37 is going to be able to do the things that Jimmy Butler did at 32, 33. So to your point, like, I understand make every single dollar that someone will pay you, but at some point, like, if you really do care about, if you care about the winning, if you care about, your legacy and your career, I do wonder at some point someone's got it. Even LeBron, you got enough money, man. Like, if you really care about this championships and, winning more than player X, player Z,
right?
Why don't you do? Tom Brady was the best football player that we had. Some would say the greatest of all time. He took less money. So why doesn't LeBron? And I know it's been floated with, Phoenix and some other situations, but why doesn't LeBron take the minimum to go play? If he really does want to go put a good team around him, maybe it doesn't even have to be the minimum, but why does he have to take all of these guys? Why do they have to take the $50+ million in order to play? And it's easy to say on my side of things, but
because they know somebody will pay him, I guess.
No, and I can't fault him for it. It's the Bradley Beal thing. Get the money first, lock yourself down, and then we can figure out your situation later. We can get you to a better situation than Washington, but make your $50 million now, and then wherever you go, they'll have to honor that. Whereas, in theory, Jimmy Butler could sign for $10 million a year doing the team a service, and then they trade him, and he's like, well, I wanted to play for $10 million for this team, not for this team.
Yeah. So all I know is some guys get some
no trade clause.
Ask for the world, and some guys don't. Coming up next, we break down Ty Lue's extension, and we get into more Mike Brown talk. 12 o'clock. Today's mock draft is from a Hoops Hype, and we will let you know who that is. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus, view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Get a free pneumatic nailer when you buy a pallet of select Metabo HPT nails. And there's more. Save 10% on select shingles when you buy in bulk. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Hagen Oaks Demo Days is in the home stretch, and this is your last chance to register for an individual fitting appointment with the manufacturer's fitting staff from Ping, TaylorMade, Mizuno, Callaway, Cleveland, Strixon, and Zexio. You've waited many long months for the new golf season, and Hagen Oaks has your new golf gear right now. Book your individual Hagen Oaks Demo Days fitting appointment. Call 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531 for your personal fitting. Hagen Oaks, Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway or HagenOaks.com.
Sponsored by Xfinity. Enjoy the entertainment you love with the Xfinity Stream app. Turn any screen into a TV and take the entertainment you love wherever you go. Xfinity, we connect you to more of what you love.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. On your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
You've seen the specials on Amazon, Netflix, Showtime, and more. Don't miss an evening with Steve Trevino.
Babe, can I go with Steve and have a drink at the casino? And then she started to speak wife. She looked at him right in the face and she goes, you can do whatever you want. And his dumb goes, told you. I go, oh, no, it's a trap. It's a trap.
Steve Trevino. Saturday, June 1st, the venue at Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Tickets on sale now at ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss an evening with Steve Trevino.
Lowe's knows every project starts with the right tools and equipment. And during Craftsman Days, you can save big on what you need from a brand you trust. Get a free Select V20 tool when you buy a Select battery 2-pack. Plus, save $50 on a V20 string trimmer and leaf blower combo kit. Now only $99. Because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 5/29 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Welcome back to Verizon Radio. Our next track will get you amped for our biggest deals of the season. It's called Red Hot Deal Days.
Choose your bundle for Red Hot Deal Days. Get a new phone, watch and tablet, scream yippee-yi-yay, because you can trade in your old phone for a bundle today.
Now that's a hot track for Red Hot Deal Days. Choose a new phone, smartwatch, and tablet along with tons more great deals. It's only until May 29th. Visit your Verizon store today. Eligible phone with select trade and an unlimited ultimate plan required and service plan required for watch or tablet. See Verizon.com for additional details.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
It's been said an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And when it comes to a nice, cool summer, it's so true. Right now, get a complete air conditioner tune-up for just $59. Bonnie, plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Getting cashed out, getting bagged out, $14 million a year for the next 5 years to coach, well, 4 Hall of Famers right now. We'll see how long they have 4 Hall of Famers. One, and Paul George might be heading elsewhere. And what does this mean for Coach Mike Brown? We don't normally hear about stuff like this. We don't normally know what goes on in the inner workings, but somebody let something get out.
Yeah.
And it just started to snowball, and the snowball got bigger and bigger and bigger. And Carmichael Dave is still standing true, still standing strong, believing that something will get done. Better happen sooner than later, Chris.
I hope so, man. It's just like, again, the longer that these things drag on, and it's the price just went up, or at least, like you said, at least the floor went up on what Mike Brown's contract is going to be, because, if Ty Lue's making $14 million, if I'm his agent, Mike Brown's, that is, I'm saying 11.5, 12 at least, because, I could ask for the 14. What really, besides the championship? And then again, we listed out all the things that Mike Brown has done that Ty Lue hasn't. So, you could reasonably ask for Mike Brown to make the same as Ty Lue. I just think, again, the longer that this thing goes on, the worse it's going to be for the Kings. We're going to do our mock draft here in a minute, or at the top of the hour. Even in that mock draft write-up, I read that they have the Kings coaching situation in the write-up of the draft. And so, that more to me speaks to the fact that this is just an NBA story now. Right. This is not just a local thing where, oh yeah, we're hearing whispers. Oh, actually, Mike Brown's contract negotiation isn't going super swim. Well, no, now the entire nation knows. Woj put it out the other day. The gulf, I think, is going to be something that a lot of people are going to bring up. The fact that there is apparently a big separation between the two. I just think this is a completely avoidable situation. And man, like it's, I'm sure Mike Brown's rubbing his hands seeing that Ty Lue deal, but if you're the Kings, it's just, it's I don't want to say it's bad business, but man, you're just, I love your term, hustling backwards, man. It's just, it's not how you had to do this thing. And this could have been wrapped up and situated during the season, immediately after the season. But instead they've decided to take this into now. And I don't really know what to think in terms of, I think Dave wasn't necessarily sourcing anything. I think he's more speaking on belief at this point.
Right.
But I don't know if I share that belief. I just feel like, definitely things
he
look
was
bad,
sourcing the closer.
He was sourcing the closer. Yeah.
Yeah. That the closer is now arrived, as in, I would imagine somebody within the Kings front office that is going to help facilitate this deal to get done.
Yeah. I would guess it's either one of Monty or Wes. Maybe there's, some cap. I guess cap wouldn't even matter. Again, cap, these money, it doesn't affect your cap at all. It doesn't affect your it's just straight up organizational costs. So, I don't really know who we could try and guess who the closer would be, but, I definitely think that I don't necessarily have the faith that this thing gets done soon. I hope it does, but, if you're just asking me vibe wise, I just don't feel good about where they're currently standing in the negotiation. It feels like both sides have definitely let their piece be heard.
I just want to know the number.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to know how big the difference is.
I just need to know the number.
Oh, they're going to dump this on Friday again. It's going to be one of these Fridays, end of news cycle. Yep. We won't be able to.
Yep.
I was going to say, I don't know if any of our live local programming will be able to decode it, but I think it's going to be coming on a Friday.
I hope so, man. That would be great.
Yeah,
that would be so great.
As long as it does. From the 916, do you think ownership hears and cares about the chatter? Well, this is where this thing gets confusing because as Dave mentioned during Crosstalk, we initially thought, Chris and I, when we spoke yesterday about the situation, we thought maybe it was coming from Mike Brown's camp because that made the most sense.
Yeah.
Hey,
he benefited the most.
Right.
For
We
sure.
want leverage. Let's tell everybody what's going on and have the Cavs fans get out there and say, we'd love to have Mike Brown back, and have these other fans say, we'd love to have Mike Brown, and let the Kings know how ridiculous this is. Dave said that typically when Woj breaks something, it is from the team side of things. If it's Shams, it's normally the agent or that player's camp. So Woj initially, well, I guess it depends on your definition of initially,
right?
Because you had the James Ham piece, and then you had Dave kind of speaking on that behalf, and then you had Woj kind of come through on that Friday and use the word gulf for how big of a space there is between Mike Brown and the Kings.
Right.
So when we asked, when Dave said, then it would probably be from the Kings if it's from Woj, and I asked, well, why would the Kings do that? Dave said, good question.
Mm-hmm.
So Dave doesn't even know why if it were the Kings, why the Kings would do it. So to answer your question, 916, do you think ownership hears and cares about the chatter? I don't know, because if they're the ones who put it out, why would they put it out? There's no leverage. There's nothing that can help the Kings in this situation. I have no clue why the Kings would put this out.
No idea. Yeah, it doesn't benefit them.
Or they got a rat.
Doesn't benefit them at all. Yeah, or maybe they have a leak. Who knows? Maybe there is a rat. I mean, I would imagine that, I don't know if Vivek hears it directly, but I would assume that minority owners definitely hear it.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that through certain channels, Monty or Wes probably hear about it. I think it would be tough. I mean, all these guys are connected to an extent. I mean, we see Monty tweeting out after the games to, tweeting out the gifts after the games and things like that, interacting with fans. I think, these guys definitely see things. I'm sure they have a couple burner accounts and things like that. I don't know if Vivek directly sees it, but I'm sure it's one of those where, people around him have heard, and maybe somebody tells him, hey, like there's some, I'm sure he knows that there's discourse and that there's conversation. I don't know if he truly knows how one-sided it seems to be, because and like, to your point, I don't know if he understands or sees how big of a loss this really is for the Kings in terms of the court of public opinion, because I just think a lot of people, I think there's still some people, we've gotten, I think, a call and a couple texts of people saying, what has he done to necessarily earn this and things like that. But I think a majority of people are just wondering, again, like you said yesterday, who do you think you are? You're in an organization that hasn't had winning in X amount of years, and now this guy walks in and brings success, and you're gonna balk. You're gonna have any sort of trepidation about it. What are you talking about? Like, I think a lot of people are just not understanding what exactly is going, or are confused as to what's going on. And I'm sure Vivek hears some of it, but I don't know if they understand fully the amount of confusion that there is.
Yeah. When we get back, more on Mike Brown. And yesterday, we were pretty pro Mike Brown. We are going to try to put ourselves in the shoes of the Kings and why they would have that trepidation. Also, an update on the Sac Republic and the Open Cup. We got details. Now scream. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
My father was a career United States Air Force pilot, and Memorial Day is a reminder of all he and so many others did for our country. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Right now at the annual Memorial Day sale, everything in the store is on sale. Everything. You'll save 10 to 25% on all living rooms, to sofas, to sectionals, to dining rooms, to bedrooms, to home offices, and so much more. Everything is on sale right now at Naturewood Home Furnishings Memorial Day sale. Whether you're looking to lighten the mood in your living room, brighten up your bedroom, or tighten up your home office, it's all available for you at savings from 10 to 25% at Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop the area's best selection of quality furniture at Naturewood Home Furnishing, off Highway 50 in Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make the switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of those spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis and see where they can help you save for the warmer months ahead. These guys are the best. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Learn more by calling 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Seems like all this artificial intelligence stuff stirs up the age-old debate of man versus machine. Hi, it's Dan from the Good Feet store, and let me ask you, would you let a robot cut your hair? Would you rely on an app to teach a kid to ride a two-wheeler? Let's face it, some things require the human touch. People come to us seeking a solution to foot, leg, and back pain after trying all kinds of things recommended by in-store machines or website blurbs. An impersonal, generic approach to solving a problem that's unique to you. No wonder they usually don't work. At the Good Feet store, you'll meet with an arch support specialist who will take the time to learn about your needs, your feet, your lifestyle, and then fit you from over 300 models and sizes of arch supports, designed for pain relief, better balance, and more comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
Maida Chevy saves you $12,000 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado LT 5.3 liter in stock after rebates. Always 5 to choose from.
Exclusive. All in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. N6324.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Chris has an update on my team.
Yes.
Sac Republic.
Get ready to scream, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. The quarterfinal date and time confirmed for your Sacramento Republic FC. This is via their X account. Just put this out, I don't know, it was about 15 to 20 minutes ago. We will host the Seattle Sounders at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, July 9th. That is, again, Seattle Sounders, 8 p.m. Tuesday, July 9th. Presale opens Thursday, June 6th. Sign up to get tickets before the general public over at, again, you can check the Sac Republic socials over for that. I don't think Alan will be doing that game, but I'm sure we will definitely try to get in the building for that one on July 9th against the Seattle Sounders in the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup. Can't wait.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
It's gonna be raucous.
My as of right now, I'm definitely planning on being there,
Yeah.
so I got to talk to the boss.
That's right.
And see if that'll work. But
That's
the
right.
plan is to be there. From the 530, Chris, as you guys know, as lifelong Kings fans, I'm actually glad that no information has been leaked about the negotiation. In the past, we would be laughed at because both sides would be talking about it to the public. That is from Greg.
I think it's too late for that.
That is from Greg with 2 G's. Thank you, Greg. This is from, I just saw this one come through from John Glazer, and he said, basically, if both sides are at an impasse, then the reason the Kings would leak it is because they feel like they are in the right. But I don't think it's about right or wrong. I just think it's about optics.
Yeah.
And I don't think if you're not going to leak what the amount is, which you wouldn't do that, the Kings still don't have anything to gain from this because nobody is going to say the Kings must be right. That's why they put this information. No one's going to say that.
Right. I mean, let's say Mike Brown is asking for whatever, $15 million a year. Ty Lue makes 14 now. So, you know, if that's the case, I still don't necessarily think, you know, and if that was the case, I think we would have heard some version of Mike Brown is asking for a very lucrative contract. I just think there's ways of getting that information out without directly saying it. I still don't see that. I definitely understand what that comment is saying. I still don't see how that's really a win for the team.
Let's hear from Dave and what he said during the crosstalk that we've been kind of talking about. Simone, cut that up for us real quick. Let's hear what Dave had to say this morning.
And again, this isn't exact, but generally, if it's Shams, that's going to be agent camp. If it's Woj, generally it's team camp.
So if the closer wasn't here, why would the team put out this information?
It's a good question. And I don't know if it's a leverage situation. I don't want to, there's no way for me saying this without sounding presumptuous, but you remember Ham said the thing, and then I said the thing, and then the next day Woj said the thing. And I don't know if those had anything to do with it. And I certainly don't think anything we reported would have affected negotiations in any way. It was just weird that those three things happened kind of in succession of each other. It's a negotiation. It's just unfortunate that it went public. And yeah, it's a bad look.
Huh. Interesting. First note is that music makes it sound very unserious. I feel like Dave could have been reporting like the Sacramento Kings have decided to fold as a franchise and organization. They will no longer exist past the 2024 season. And that music behind it it just makes everything very unserious.
Yep.
No, but I mean, hearing it again for sure. It's just really interesting to hear him talk about like the closer and all those things. I just, I just wonder if that's hope, if that's, if there is something to it, if there really is, because let's just say whatever this closer that Dave mentions, what necessarily is that person going to do that's going to get the two sides to agree? What exactly is it that person would do to convince Mike Brown or the Kings to get to the right number? Is it just that person has the right relationship? Is it that person is high enough in the organization to get things done that, maybe, this thing has been drawn out longer than it even should have? It's just going to be interesting to hear, I guess, to Simone's point, maybe it'll be as early as this Friday or this week, but how quickly they can wrap this thing up, because I think the longer this thing goes without being solved or without hearing an update on it, at the very least, to hear that they're back at the negotiation table, I just think the worse it's going to be and the more questions are going to arise. And, that's how things that weren't things become things, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm on a track of that, but this could definitely be something that, it was small. They just weren't agreeing to it. And then, by the time July comes around, if people continue to talk about it, it's going to be a thing. And the best way to get people to shut up about it is by taking care of it.
Right. Just to get it done and to move forward. Obviously the Kings did miss the playoffs here.
Yeah.
And I get it. They weren't in an outstanding spot prior to the injuries. And then Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter go down, and it just made it even worse, right? So if you're evaluating Mike Brown on this past season, I would have to say that the first thing they're doing is removing Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter. If they are going to fairly evaluate Mike Brown, it would have to be up until Kevin Huerter got hurt.
Sure.
Because I'm giving the Kings front office and ownership the benefit of the doubt here, because if you think that in this West, that Kings team with no Malik Monk and no Kevin Huerter was going to do anything, then I have to question your basketball acumen. And I do not want to do that.
Yeah.
So I would say that what they're focused on as far as Mike Brown would be, we never should have been the 6 seed, 7 seed. And because that's essentially where they were when Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk went down. We never should have been in that situation. So when they did go down, we should have dropped from the 4 seed to the 6 seed. To the 5, the 6, maybe the 7, and we can still get in. Because that's the thing. They're not on Mike Brown for not winning a championship. It's specifically they thought we were the 3 seed. We know it was a down year in the West, but we were the 3 seed. Okay. There's no way you can go from 3 to 9.
Yeah.
There's just no excuses. Now I'm forming the argument against Mike Brown.
Right.
There's no way you can go from 3 to 9. I don't care what happened.
Right.
You still had your 2 best players. Okay. For majority of the season, De'Aaron Fox, bonus, I don't know, missed a game.
He did not.
So you still had those 2 guys. All right. You have Harrison Barnes, who, hey, whether that was Monty or, we know that Mike Brown loves Harrison Barnes. So you got Harrison Barnes, you got Keegan Murray for majority of the season. You cannot go from 3 to 9. And if you had not lost some of these games, if they're blaming that Pistons game is on you, all these bad losses, to me, I'm being them. To me, that's on coaching. You can't lose to there were some unforgivables. Let's be honest.
Sure.
You can't lose to the Pistons at home. You can't lose to the Blazers. You can't lose to the Hornets. You cannot lose these games because, as a lot of parents say, and my mom always says, save some money for a rainy day. You know what I mean? You never know what could happen. So don't spend all your money and then your car breaks down. And now you say, oh, I don't have any extra money for that. They spent all their money on rainy days. All their mulligans were gone. So when Malik and Kevin Huerter got hurt,
right, they were all out of cash.
So they're probably not looking at that, right? They're saying, we don't care about what happened. Right. We care about
that you put yourself in the situation.
You put that self in that situation.
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes.
I still don't agree.
Yeah, no,
but that's probably what they're looking at.
Right. No, absolutely, and I totally understand it. I totally understand it 100%. But I think it's just unfair to blame it all. And I'm not saying you're saying that, but for if I'm on Mike Brown's side, I'm saying, well, what about the players? Like, what about? I get that I have to take some of that responsibility for sure, but how about the fact that we weren't prepared to have, our guys, a couple guys go down, and you could say, sure, absolutely, Keon Ellis and all those things, but did they? I'm sure Mike Brown had a list of players that he wanted to add in this offseason, and I don't know necessarily if they really brought in a single person besides maybe JaVale that Mike Brown actually wanted to have brought in. I'm not saying Chris Duarte isn't a type of player that he would want to bring in, but I just continue the Juan Toscano-Anderson 2 weeks will stand permanently in my
favorite
head.
Time of the season.
Just as how willing he was to throw JTA out there. I mean, he played like the last 10 seconds or whatever, like I think it was the last minute of a Suns game where it was a neck and neck game, and the fact that he trusted that guy instead of the guys on his roster, it just spoke volumes to me. And I don't know. I just feel like that's the kind of guy that Mike wants. And he never had we talk about the cooks and the recipe and the guy who's buying the ingredients and all that stuff. I just feel like he was never given the ingredients that he wanted.
The only person that had a year that you could say was better than last season was Sabonis.
Malik too.
And Malik.
Yeah.
Those
are it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And maybe there was a Malik starting. I don't know. When things like this come out, you start looking at the whole season in a different light. All right. When we come back, Hoops Hype consensus mock draft. Who are the Kings taking today? Please, not another guard. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Vapes and cigarettes are responsible for the excessive amount of secondhand smoke in California.
From our sidewalks to our parks, restaurants, offices, and work sites, over half of Californians are at risk of being exposed to thousands of toxic chemicals.
Go to secondhanddangers.org for an action plan to protect yourself and your family from toxic harm that could last a lifetime.
Because even outdoors, there's no such thing as safe secondhand smoke.
Sponsored by Breathe California, Sacramento region.
At Ashton & Price over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
You see the TV commercials, everybody wants this car, the all-electric Kia EV9. Well, my friends at Elk Grove Kia have it on the lot today, and you could be driving it for only $499 a month. That's right, the 2024 North American Utility Vehicle of the Year. The all-electric Kia EV9 can be yours right now at Elk Grove Kia for only $499 a month. The summer sales event is going on right now at Elk Grove Kia and the Elk Grove Auto Mall. Everything, I would love to be driving a brand new car this summer, or maybe even just a car that's new to me. Well, guess what? Your credit won't be an issue out here at Elk Grove Kia. Everyone's approved. And Elk Grove Kia is committed to providing excellent customer service and getting you behind the wheel of a vehicle you're going to love. They go above and beyond the average dealerships. You're not going to find this kind of experience in Roseville or Vacaville or Sacramento or Davis. Only at Elk Grove Kia. That's why they have so many 5-star reviews. Come visit the showroom, see for yourself. Elk Grove Kia is in the Elk Grove Auto Mall. Or check out what they got on the lot right now anytime online at elkgrovekia.com. One at this price, $3,500 down, plus taxes and fees.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, one of the quirky things about the A's record so far is the way the A's have played a third of the way into the season against the National League. Yes, they haven't played the Phillies or the Dodgers or the Giants, but still, the A's are 10-5 against the senior circuit, minus 16 against the American League. And speaking of the Dodgers, they come to the Coliseum the first weekend in August.
Want more speed? Well, Xfinity just increased their internet speeds, and they're faster than ever. It's time to get more out of your internet with faster speeds from Xfinity. Now through June 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for only $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. That's double the speed for the same great price. Click, call, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and other charges extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports. Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sacktown Sports.
About to get into our mock draft for today, courtesy of Hoops Hype. Before we do that, 925, shout out to the 925. That's my area code as well. Shout out to the 925. They say, is it possible that management is questioning the offensive regression or lack of offensive development?
Possibly. I mean, I know that, I'll just kind of blanket it and say ownership is always been a big fan of flow offense. And, we know that this organization has a lot of ties with Golden State and has a lot of dreams of being Golden State. So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. I think Mike Brown would counter and say, yeah, our offense got worse, but our defense got a lot better. And I think that's kind of the trade-off, is figuring out how to find that balance, which would be hopefully the goal of this season. Hey, we were amazing on offense one year and then really bad on defense. The next year we took a slip on offense and then took a leap on defense. You would hope in the third year you can kind of combine it all together and find the right balance, the perfect balance, and the right recipe. I think that there could definitely be something there, but again, I wouldn't blame the coach for that. I would blame Keegan Murray for not shooting 40% from three. I would blame Kevin Huerter for not shooting 40% from three, and really just across the board, everybody really didn't shoot well from the perimeter this year, which I think led to a lot of kind of snowballing effect of the offense not looking how it should have.
There's normally 3 reasons why a coach gets let go. Okay. And this is just off the top of my head. The first reason is that the team feels like you are underachieving. All right. The second reason is that and this is kind of similar, they feel like the team has kind of hit a wall, right? So you're not underachieving, but we need to get to that. It doesn't feel like underachieving, but we're trying to see if there's just anything better out there. And the third reason is just if the team is just bad, right? You just, hey, you're collateral damage. You're coaching a bad team. But Monty Williams, I don't know how long Monty Williams is going to make it because it's not a good team, or Chauncey Billups, whatever that case is. I saw a video of Scoot Henderson recently, by the way.
I saw it as well.
He's shooting.
He sure is.
He's shooting. So those are the three reasons that I think coaches normally get let go. Mike Brown doesn't fit into any of those categories. It's not a bad team. You could argue the underachieving, but I would say by how much.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And as far as the Mark Jackson, if you will, hitting the ceiling, you can't. It's been 2 years.
Right.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't see it being that as well. So to me, he doesn't fit. Mike Brown doesn't fit into any of those
Hasn't
categories.
lost the locker room either.
Or losing the locker room. Like I said, I asked the question, hey, the Malik stuff, do we feel like Malik has a good relationship? Look, we don't even know if Malik's going to still be on the team, but you also said that you do think he has a good relationship. I don't know a lot. I mean, to be fair, I don't know a ton, and obviously you've been out here, Chris, longer than I have. I don't know a ton about De'Aaron Fox and Mike Brown's relationship. I know Mike Brown always says the right things.
Yeah, I know Mike Brown likes him.
in pressers, but I don't know any, we have this huge relationship. It still hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
It still hasn't been that long.
Don't get me twisted. We need De'Aaron Fox.
There you go.
N-E-E-D.
So whether it's De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, I think Sabonis is just somebody that's going to get along with anybody. Fine. But yeah, I mean, those to me are the three reasons why you move off of a coach, and you can include losing the locker room in one of those or in all of them. And I don't think he's fallen into any of those categories yet.
I don't think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm the only thing I can think of is just general disappointment with how the season went. But I think that's okay to have without it being okay. But does he need to leave because it wasn't successful?
You know what's interesting? I just thought about this. Monty McNair during the exit presser. It's funny to me that Monty McNair can say, I like the fact that losing or that beating the Warriors in a play-in isn't good enough anymore. Right. He was talking about the fans. Mm-hmm. So that tells me that internally they do feel like it was a pretty good season, all things considered. Right. So why would Monty McNair say that? But then at the same time, Mike Brown wasn't good enough this season, or they didn't do enough this season. It feels like there's multiple disconnects.
Well, you might have just found an answer. I mean, that Monty McNair's the GM. He could be happy with it.
Yeah.
There's other people who have influence into what happens.
But then that's why when you brought up, or when we were trying to figure out who the closer is, you mentioned Monty. I'm thinking, aren't they kind of a package deal most of the time?
No, not necessarily. I mean, no, not necessarily at all. GM and coach usually like to work in lockstep, but it's kind of the nature of the business. Sometimes the GM needs to fire the coach. And so, it's not always a perfect relationship. They try and work together, but in this case, to your point, Monty and Mike seem to be in constant communication. Again, I don't necessarily know if the players Monty brought in are ones that Mike Brown would have liked, but I think in terms of a job evaluation, I think Monty falls more so where we're talking about, and I won't dance around it. I think it's ownership. I think it's Vivek saying, I'm not happy with the fact we didn't make the playoffs. I think we should have made the playoffs. I want playoff revenue. I want the pyrotechnics to be off the charts next season. And I think that it's kind of a trickle down effect of, Vivek's up top. He's not happy. He yells at Monty and says, what's going on? Are we sure? Like, wait, hold on. You want me? Wait. You just came into my office and said, this guy wants $12 million. Well, I want a playoff spot.
Right.
And so I could see how it could very easily kind of trickle down to become, and maybe Monty is the closer and Monty is the great in-between man and can kind of, find happy balance on both sides.
Well, and then the question, as far as the guys that they have brought in, Sasha was Sasha Monty guy.
That's
was
the
Sasha
one.
Vivek
That's the
guy?
one where I specifically am like, I don't think that's a Mike. I don't know whose guy it is, but I know it's not a Mike Brown guy.
Me too.
Yeah, I know that for a fact.
And then he comes and can't get on the court.
No, exactly.
And gets injured, and so yeah, I don't think Mike Brown fits into any of those categories. But at the same time, as we tried to spend today, understanding what the thought process is from Vivek. The bottom line is, even if you feel this way, this stuff can't get out. It's a bad look for this stuff to get out, and they gotta, I don't want to say sweep it under the rug. They just got to take care of it.
And I wonder, to put the full tinfoil hat on and kind of connect every, not dots, but just things people have said. I mean, what if that texter is right in saying, I'm sorry, the commenter who, now I'm forgetting what the commenter said. But essentially, what if Monty McNair is the closer that's being brought in? What if he can, oh man, now I've completely forgot my point. But essentially, what if this all essentially gets swept under the rug and this is all much ado about nothing? What if the leak from the Kings side, what if the closer is coming in because the leak came out? That's what I was going to say. To the commenter's point of
they
why
feel like
they feel like
comment.
Yes, I think it was the YouTube comment said what would be the team incentive of doing this?
Right.
What if this did come from the team? Well, what if the closer is coming in because the closer is wondering the same question, and that could be Monty McNair maybe. And this is again full tinfoil hat, 0% sourcing. What if Vivek was upset about, or ownership? I will not. I'll say ownership was upset about hearing the dollar figure. Again, put it out to try and say, hey, like, this guy's crazy, like whatever, this might not get done. And now Dave, as Dave says, the closer is now in the building. I wonder if that has anything to do with the fact that, maybe that closer had a nice vacation planned or something, and it says, I guess I got to come in and clean this all up.
Well, it feels like, if anything, as much pro Mike Brown as we've been on this show, it feels like, if anything, if your theory is correct, it would be they thought they were in a good spot, and then Mike saw some price tag change somewhere and say, actually, 9 isn't enough. Actually, we feel like 11 or 12 is enough. And then it turns into, oh, whoa. Because that's what we said yesterday. 9 to 12, or maybe 10 to 12 feels like where the miss might be. And just so everybody, if anybody is just now tuning in, thank you for joining. You have Ty Lue, $14 million a year. So and all these people are talking. Obviously, that deal just broke today. But Mike Brown initially feeling like, okay, 9-10 is okay, and then maybe Mike Brown went back and said, and his agent or anybody said, I mean, look at some of these numbers that are coming out.
Budenholzer's making
I was going to
11,
say Budenholzer, that might have been the one. Where maybe they were at 9. Budenholzer signs for 11, even though he's got a championship, right, with the Bucks. Even though he's at 11, Mike says, I need 11. And now now 9 to 11. Hey, that's not what we initially thought. And now
it's at 14. So 11's the floor again.
11 is the floor now.
The
floor is lava.
And if you get him for 10, then if it gets announced that, he signs for 10 or 10.5, then I think that's a deal for the Kings. I think you should be thrilled. Again, not that it really matters, because again, these things don't really count towards anything, but I think if any, that'll be interesting too, because then it's like, well, if Mike Brown agrees to something that's less than 11, then where was the initial offers at? If he settled for something that was, let's say, 10 or 10.5 a year, well, then where were the Kings on their initial? Were they at 8? Were they at 7?
I mean, there's some guys making 7 out there, so it wouldn't be unheard of. Coming up next, we get to the Hoops Hype mock draft. Also, Curtis Hicks, we see you on the Sack Chat, but I want to save your comment for after we talk about who the Kings are taking today. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA3 Weather Center. It is Wednesday. We're looking at plenty of sunshine today, and a bit of a north breeze will feel. Highs will peak in the upper 80s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down in a heartbeat. So remember to be a little more alert on the road and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sacktown Sports.
It's draft time. And I got the highlights going right now.
Ooh.
This player, Pac-12's finest, RIP to the Pac-12. Chris, take it away.
Yeah, this is from, we're doing Hoops Hype today. Their consensus mock draft, which are always my favorite because it's not even necessarily anybody's direct opinion. It's it's compiling 10 different mock drafts. They use ESPN, The Athletic, Bleacher Report, The Ringer, the NBA Big Board, Yahoo Sports, CBS Sports, Sports Illustrated, SB Nation, and USA Today's mock drafts, and essentially create a score that is, hey, if this guy is first in all 10 of the mock drafts, he's going to get 100, so on and so forth. You can figure the rest out there. And so this is where pretty much the average or the median of the draft, where these people are falling in the draft. Mm-hmm. Number one, we have the Atlanta Hawks. I don't think we've seen anything else. To my knowledge, I can't really remember. Alex Sarr going number one to the Atlanta Hawks. No surprise there. I think Atlanta is still rumored to be possibly shopping that number one pick, so we'll see who actually ends up making it, but it does seem like Alex Sarr is settling pretty firmly into that number one spot. Alan, I'm very excited about this next one. Number two, going to the Washington Wizards. I told you I was spending a lot of time on draft over the weekend, and I finally learned how to pronounce this name. I've been calling him Zachary Rissacher or Rissacher.
Yes.
I'm an idiot. He's French, and so it's Rissacher.
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 Amen.
Rissacher.
Amen.
It is Zachary Rissacher.
Rissacher.
Yes, going number
another
two.
French, the takeover.
Yes, it's incredible. The first two picks going to Frenchmen. Look out for the Olympics this summer or the next Olympics, I guess. Going number two to the Washington Wizards. That's don't really know much about him because the Kings aren't in that position, and he's pretty much mocked
Not
at
yet.
top three. We'll see. Number three, Houston going Donovan Clingan. Still not making a lot of sense to me, and that seems like it's pretty firm at this point. I feel like this is a consensus, so it does feel like a majority of the mock drafts we see have Donovan Clingan going number three, or at least in the top three. San Antonio, with their first of two top 10 picks, takes Nikola Topic at number 4. Again, this is the consensus, taking 10 mock drafts and compiling them to create some form of consensus. At number 5, Detroit taking Matas Budzialis out of the G League. Number 6, Charlotte taking Stephon Castle out of UConn. Number 7, Portland taking Reed Shepherd, somebody who we've seen as high as number 3, going number 7 to the Blazers. Rob Dillingham going number 8 to San Antonio's second pick. Number 9 is Ron Holland out of G League Ignite going to Memphis. That's an interesting combo. Utah taking Dalton Connect. Okay, that's just rich. Apparently the Utah Jazz have 10, 29, and 32 and have been exploring trading the number 10 pick and their other first rounders, a league sources told Hoops Hype. there is some belief around the league that Utah owner Ryan Smith would like to add another star talent to the Jazz, and Ainge has aggressively monitored the trade market. So that's a pick that is 3 ahead of the Kings, and they're looking to shop potentially all 3 of their first-round picks. So that's going to be really interesting just in terms of, I'm sure that can be a really, really big shift point in the draft for whoever makes that pick, or if they do actually end up making that trade. Number 11, Chicago taking Cody Williams, my guy out of Colorado. At number 12, Allen's guy Tejan Ceylon goes to OKC. Yes, his previous rank was 14, so he's jumping up mock drafts. His highest rank is 8, and his lowest rank is 24. Tejan Ceylon would be an upside swing for Thunder based on his raw talent. He was voted the best young player of the Basketball Champions League overseas. And the drawback on Ceylon is he has been an inconsistent player this season overseas, but that's expected for an 18-year-old who won't turn 19 until August. So still a lot of hope. He could potentially be there at 13, but he is not there at 13. And they have, with the 13th pick of the 2024 NBA draft, the consensus mock draft has the Sacramento Kings taking Bronny James's teammate. He should be known by his actual name, Isaiah Collier, who is a really, really highly touted guard. Alan, I'm sorry, a guard out of USC. I believe he was the number 1 recruit in this high school class. So if you're somebody who believes in someone with pedigree, you definitely have that. Shout out all the Nico Mannion supporters out there in Golden State who are probably screaming about that. Here's the write-up on one Isaiah Collier. And again, this is what I said earlier. Very interesting write-up here. Doesn't even start talking about the draft at all. This is from Hoops Hype. The biggest storyline for the Sacramento Kings isn't the upcoming draft or free agency. It's the future of Coach Mike Brown. After winning 48 games and ending the longest NBA playoff drought without a trip to the playoffs during the 2022-23 season and missing the playoffs despite winning 46 games this past season, the Kings and Brown have paused extension talks per ESPN. Part of the reasoning is that Kings ownership is displeased with the failure to repeat as a playoff team. Following 16 years of ineptitude and no playoff appearances, Brown helped change the culture in Sacramento. As for the draft, again, just to get that out there, I know you came here for mock drafts, but here's an update on what's happening in Sacramento. As for the draft, USC guard Isaiah Collier, the projected number 1 pick during January's aggregate mock draft, could help solidify the backcourt, the backup point guard minutes behind star De'Aaron Fox after Davion Mitchell and Keon Ellis saw their roles fluctuate at different times last season. Don't know if I'd call Keon a point guard. I know he's kind of listed as one and has ball handled a little bit, but I think he's more of a 2. Collier has an NBA physique, attacks the paint with force, gets to the foul line often, and can provide on-ball defense along the perimeter. His ability to become a better shooter from beyond the arc and foul line, along with limiting his turnovers, will determine if he reaches his NBA ceiling. For his strengths, we have decent shooting percentage, almost 50% from the field, just under 33% from 3. Solid ball handler with creativity and craftiness, changes speeds well. He has size and strength advantage at 6'4", making him tough to defend at the point of attack. He has excellent court vision, a quick first step, effective mid-range, an NBA frame, and ability to consistently get to the free throw line and draw fouls. His weaknesses, however, tendency to turn the ball over and struggle with passing accuracy, below average defender with deficiencies in team defense and lateral quickness, short wingspan limits defensive effectiveness, inconsistent shooting and poor free throw percentage, lack of elite athleticism and finishing ability, questions about overall feel for the game and defensive effort. Those are some really, really bad negatives.
Chris,
I feel like those negatives are he turns the ball over, he's not a good defender, he can't move laterally quickly, he has a small wingspan, he's an inconsistent shooter, can't make free throws, and he's not athletic. And he has bad basketball IQ. What exactly do you do here? I'm sorry. I'm not saying
watching these highlights.
I'm not. Yeah.
I mean, he looks athletic to me. He looks like a running back.
Really. Yeah. I mean, they mentioned a couple different times about his frame.
Right.
6'2". Yeah.
Basically, what is this? What is this? Tinder? Is this Hinge?
Yeah.
Bumble?
Love Island is coming back.
It is coming back.
6'4" and 3/4 wingspan. 204 pounds. He did average 16 points a game last year, 4.3 assists, a steal and a half per game, shot 49% from the field, 33.8% from three. Here's the tough one. This is 67% from the free throw line.
Do these people hate Sacramento? I mean, respectfully. And maybe Isaiah will be good.
He might.
Just give us Tejan.
Yeah. Let me see.
Where was your boy anyway?
Yeah, I was just about to see where everybody falls here, just to let you know who.
We need to apologize to our listeners. You started that segment by saying Bronny, and it scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
It was not cool. I'm
Bronny
throwing
James
up the penalty flag, and I got to push you 10 yards back.
Bronny James.
Very, very fair. Let me see here. After 13, we have, again, this is the aggregate mock draft, taking 10 mock drafts and putting it together. Number 14 is Jared McCain. Number 15, Devin Carter, which is a name we've seen for the Kings as well. Number 16, Jacoby Walter. I also think these are good because you have a good sense of more so where these guys are supposed to go. And so more so on draft night, it's kind of like whoa, okay, if Jacoby Walter in 10 mock drafts, it seems as if he's going to go 16 and then he ends up going 11. That's a really, really big jump in terms of what perception and reality was. Kyle Flipkowski out of Duke is going 17. Where is my guy? Here he is. Number 18, Tristan De Silva going to the Orlando Magic, which does make sense to me as well. And I would also argue, if he makes sense for Orlando, I would definitely say he makes sense for Sacramento. I think it would be interesting to see him come off the bench. And a name we haven't seen in a while that used to be the talk of the town in terms of just polarizing conversation. Where is Zach Edey falling? 21. Zach Edey, who, there was definitely some mock drafts early in the process that had Edey around the Kings, if not at the Kings at 13. Zach Edey all the way down to 21. His best rank is at 14. And yeah, I think, I think in the 20s is probably the right range for Edey, just more specifically because those are the best teams. Right. And I feel like he just kind of needs to go to a team where he's just a role player. Like he only is going to have one or two things that he's going to be asked to do. And that's really it. And if he can do anything more than that, I think it's great.
Well, there you have it. Isaiah Collier. Another guard.
Yes.
Nobody wants the Kings to get any length, apparently. Yeah. And again, it's just all about Malik Monk leaving.
How about our guy Johnny Furphy, too? He's at 27.
He's not my guy. Furf dog. This is where the Kings are right now. We're going to lose Malik Monk, Mike Brown.
You don't have a coach?
Yeah, you have no coach. And here's another small guard.
Yep.
Coming up next, we continue the conversation. And as you watch the NBA playoffs, what should each player on the Kings be working on this offseason? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out sacktownsports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on sacktownsports.com.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Flo here from Progressive to tell you how you get more than great savings with us. You get customer service access through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
That's a lot of ways I can get in touch with you. I see what's going on here. You can't name favorites, but I'm your number one customer.
Actually, Actually, we offer all our customers these ways to contact us.
I'm sure you give just any customer your personal
company
contact info.
Well, you did call us more than any other customer this year. So in that sense, you are our number one customer.
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, summer is our season. And we're kicking it off with a free 12-ounce Island Punch smoothie for National Flip Flop Day. Grab your flip-flops and head to your local cafe on May 29th from 2 to 7 p.m. Terms and conditions apply.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or e-gift card. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
We see a lot of news about teens vaping, but teens see something else. Videos on social media that glamorize it and downplay the dangers of nicotine. How can parents talk so kids will listen? Use facts. 1. Nicotine can rewire teens' brains. 2. It can make teens more anxious. 3. Changes to the brain can be permanent. So even when it hides behind a new look, nicotine is brain poison. Go to undo.org for more.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Right now, while you're sitting on the couch or just driving around, your friends are at the Hagen Oaks Driving Range, powered by Top Tracer. The vibe is perfect, whether you're an accomplished player or a newbie. Play a variety of fun games, play Pebble Beach, or compete against friends at the Hagen Oaks Driving Range. Hungry? The Hangout Food Truck offers burgers, chicken strips, and more. Check the summer-long free concert schedule. Be a part of the fun at the Hagen Oaks Driving Range, Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway, open until midnight.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
The countdown to Miss Twin Peaks 2024 is on. Head over to MissTwinPeaks2024.com to learn about the contest and cast your 5 votes for your favorite Twin Peaks girl.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
The beginning of the show, as we broke down Ricky Pearsall and how Slick Rick, as they call him, and how he looks really good at OTAs. The question was, hey, you got Debo, you got Ayuk, you got Ricky. What about Jauan Jennings? Well, Jauan Jennings showed up to OTAs today. And this is from Adam Schefter, literally broke as we were returning. Restricted free agent wide receiver Jauan Jennings is signing a 2-year deal with the 49ers worth up to $15.4 million, including $10.5 million guaranteed. The deal was negotiated and confirmed by agents Drew and Jason Rosenhaus. Jennings did not sign his free agent tender and instead did this deal, which is akin to a 1-year extension. So Jauan Jennings staying in the Bay.
Bang, bang, good for him, man.
On the bench.
I love that. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I think he, like I said, man, he definitely had a case for a minute there to be Super Bowl MVP. And, you know, he was kind of the I wouldn't even say understated hero, because I definitely think all Niner fans knew the third and Jauan and all that stuff and had already grown to appreciate him. But, I mean, you after he performed the way he did all season long, and you could definitely make an argument for everything that's gone on with all the receiver talk, that it's like he's kind of looking here and saying, well, what about me? I think he definitely has a better, as good of a case as anyone to say, well, I've been balling, I've been producing for everything you guys have. I haven't been, you know, piping up about my role with this team, and I think I've definitely shown everything that I can to deserve what he got. So I'm happy to see that Jauan Jennings got that deal. And My mind naturally goes to, what does this mean for the other two? I mean, if you're raising the price now of your third receiver, does the financial somehow calculate into, okay, so now you're going to have Debo, Ayuk, and you're going to have Jauan Jennings making a certain more than what maybe your typical number 3 would make. And then you also have Ricky Pearsall down at the bottom. And, I understand that's more of a developmental thing, but it's just at some point.
Not the way they're talking about it.
For a run-first offense, as they would probably call it, like, I kind of think that's a lot of attention on receiver.
Well, the whole idea is because of Brock, they won't necessarily be run first anymore. Sure. So we will see. But, the Niners, when it comes to their financials, they always seem to figure this stuff out. So I think the one thing we can all agree on is that this will probably be the last season with Debo and Ayuk.
I would have to imagine.
It's probably going to be bye-bye Debo after this. As we get back to what Curtis Hicks had to say in the SAC chat, and this is what he had to say, Chris. I heard you guys say Domas and Monk had better seasons this year than last year. Fox was top 10 in scoring and led the league in steals. He had a better season this season than last season as well.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, that's definitely not wrong, especially I think it's more just, it didn't feel as consistent, I think.
Or impactful.
Yeah, for sure. I think all of it. I think all of it definitely works. And some of it's a team-wide thing in general. Again, we've talked about how it just didn't feel the same vibe-wise, happiness-wise this season in general. So maybe some of the emotions are playing too much of a factor in my thought process. But I think he was better. I mean, absolutely the first 2 months or month of the season when he was at that 40% from 3, averaging 30 per game, that was incredible. But, he wasn't the closer he was last year, obviously with the clutch player of the year last year. And then this season, Malik was honestly a better clutch player. I just think that it's not as definite. Like with Sabonis, definitely was better this year than he was last year. With Malik, definitely was better than he was last year. Because I think you can make an argument. You can probably do the same thing that we're talking with De'Aaron with Keegan. Like, Keegan averaged more points. He played better defense, but I don't know if it was definite, because to me, the shooting percentage was down. The 47-point game was fantastic, but it didn't feel like he necessarily took the offensive leap that I think everyone was 100% hoping for. He showed definite signs of improvement there, but I just wouldn't say it's as definite as the other two. I'm not saying Curtis is wrong at all. I just think it's not as
916-339-1140. Did De'Aaron Fox have a better season this season than last season? We already agree that Domantas Sabonis had a better season this season than last season. Same with Malik Monk. When you look at the Kings, is there anybody else? Would that person be De'Aaron Fox based on the numbers, then based on the impact and based on the feeling that you got while watching him? All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Yeah, it's tough, right? Because as they say, numbers never lie, but they don't always tell the whole truth. Yeah. And it feels like that's what it is with De'Aaron. The bigger thing to say is he didn't regress. He definitely didn't regress. Yeah. We're just arguing. If you're arguing, did he have a better season? It's the difference between better season and leap. Did De'Aaron have a better season? Possibly. I think so. Based on
the numbers I'm looking at, 1.6 points per game more. He's from 1.1 steals to 2 flat, more rebounds.
But did he make a
much better 40%?
Did he make a leap?
3?
Malik Monk took a leap.
Yeah. I wouldn't say so. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah. And
there's steps towards a leap. Again, like that beginning of the season from 3, that would have been a leap. And even for it to look at the end of the season and see De'Aaron shot 36.9%, like that looks great. That is a leap. But going through it, like it was, I'll have to track down exactly what the number was or when exactly it happened, but there was a clear, okay, De'Aaron is shooting 40% from 3, 30 points per game. And then post that is like 24 points per game and 32%. And that's for a longer period than he was at 30 and 40. So it's, again, kind of the consistency thing, I think, kind of plays.
He started out really hot.
Yeah,
and it kind of carried him
a little bit.
But
the defense was there. I mean, the steals, you know, that's undeniable, 100%.
From the 916 LOL. Yeah, Ellis. We're not counting Keon Ellis.
I mean, Keon Ellis went from not playing at all to playing basketball. Yes. Keon Ellis.
You're not wrong, 916.
No, not at all.
Keon Ellis did have a better season.
Yes. So does, well, never mind.
So then
I was going to say Sasha Vezenkov had a better, but he technically did play.
Technically.
Yeah, you know.
Technically. And we're looking for, you know, those leaps for more guys next season as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, you need them.
You know, I think the huge thing when we talk about Mike Brown, and I'm really not trying to come down this guy's road when it comes to the Trey Bays, but I do think that Trey Lyles and the injuries and everything after he gets signed this past offseason, I think Trey Lyles was not a miss, but I think not having a peak Trey Lyles this season or Trey Lyles not really improving.
Yeah.
Just on top, there was just no relief
from
anything this season. There was, besides Keon Ellis, thank you, 916.
Yes, absolutely.
Besides Keon Ellis, and I guess
spurts of Davion sometimes.
Right. The relief was Malik Monk.
Yeah.
The relief was Keon.
Yep.
The relief was, there was no relief that you thought was going to happen besides Malik. And I don't even know if I want to count Domas because that was already
there.
It was already included. It was already baked into what you expected.
It was just even better. It was just more consistent.
Right. It was just all
every single night.
All as good or slightly worse.
Yes.
With nobody, the bright spots that we expected. Yeah. What were the bright spots that we expected besides Malik? Really impactful bright spots
that we expected to have. I mean, it was supposed to be Sasha 100%.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be, honestly, you could argue JaVale was supposed to be somebody that was going to have a decent role with this team. Let's see here. Chris Duarte, he was somebody who was supposed to have a bigger role than he ended up having. Kevin Huerter, I think, was supposed to, take his career season and maybe not improve on the career season, but show, okay, yeah, there's a lot of elements of this that are here to stay.
Yeah.
And he kind of regressed back to the guy that he was before he got to Sacramento. Keegan took steps in the right direction, absolutely, but we could just kind of went over that. Wasn't this massive, huge step forward where he's now in a different conversation than he was before. I think he's definitely in the right direction, but he's still in a role player or a very good role player kind of tier where I don't think anybody is quite yet talking about, Keegan. I'm sure there's some conversations, but I don't think a lot of people are having the, Keegan Murray potential future all-star conversation. I don't think. Harrison Barnes, more of the same, really.
Yeah.
I mean, is really what we got. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think we necessarily, and, Davion, I think you kind of got the similar ups and downs that you got with De'Aaron. I would say was overall more up than down, absolutely, but ultimately a lot of the inconsistency kind of plays a factor in how you feel about the totality of it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I think really from a player standpoint, I feel really happy about where Malik progressed. I feel great about Domantas Sabonis. I don't even really feel like it's progression. I just kind of feel like he just was there every single night doing what he does. So, I mean, it's definitely it was a really frustrating season. It was a really frustrating season.
When we get back, will the A's trade Mason Miller? John Heyman has some things to say. Also, Bronny, is he staying in the draft? The report is out. And also, is he hustling backwards? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at American Energy. Now, I've told you this before, but this is what we call extending a good deal. Right now, American Energy Heat and Air is offering an HVAC diagnostic for $99. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Never mind. They're offering it free. It's a $99 value, but you get it for $0. Let the American Energy team test your system connections and all the moving parts of that system to ensure that it's functioning properly. Now, this is a limited time offer. Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. Speak to the company that has an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau that's been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
What's wrong? My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation. Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card? Uh-huh. Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase. Really? Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Over the years, some of golf's best stories were about the legendary Ben Hogan. Tommy Bolt once said that Hogan was the only player he'd ever known to get an ovation on the practice tee. He said he saw Hogan playing practice rounds before a tournament where half the gallery was made up of other professionals. When Bolt was asked who was better, Jack Nicklaus or Ben Hogan, Bolt replied, "Well, I saw Nicklaus watch Hogan practice, but I never saw Hogan watch Nicklaus." That's a pretty definite answer. Hogan described the game of golf as a game of misses. He said, "The player who misses best is the one who's going to win." He believed that the first hole was the most important, saying, "Well, if you don't birdie the first hole, how can you expect to birdie them all?" Ben Hogan knew the value of positive thinking on the golf course. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Maida Chevy saves you $12,000 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado LT 5.3 liter in stock after rebates. Always 5 to choose from.
Exclusive. All in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. N6324.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sacktown Sports.
Giants about to start up, Chris. And the Giants have been rolling right now,
dude, by the way. They had a great weekend. They had all those comebacks over the weekend.
They just walked off.
Nuts.
They walked off last night.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Matos fly.
Yeah, they are moving and grooving right now.
Just what you wanted, right? The young guys. It hasn't really necessarily been 100% because of them, but
this
definitely
is what
helped,
I wanted.
Right?
And right now, if Kyle Harrison, former or another De La Salle alum, just like your boy, if Kyle Harrison
is he really? Wow, I didn't know that.
Can get this W, that would be a sweep of the Phillies.
Really?
With a very big series coming up this weekend. Frankie Cardicelli will be in the building in San Francisco as his Giants, or excuse me, his Yankees. His Yankees will be taking on the Giants. Yankees headed to Oracle Park.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
I was just checking MLB power rankings too, and Yankees, Phillies are 1 and 2 right now in the power rankings.
Yeah, and the Giants right now, I mean, they're in playoff position if the season ended. So the Giants are really cooking up some good stuff. And the Giants-Yankees thing and really just this interleague play, I mean, it's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I've always been a fan of it, and I don't know how the purists feel, but the ability for
Kyle Harrison just got taken deep. First pitch. First at bat.
That's too bad.
It's a long game.
It's a long.
It's a long
Kyle
game.
Schwarber's first home run. 11th. I'm sorry, 11th home run.
Get him out early. Get him out early.
Sorry to cut you off.
That is don't ever cut me off
I'm
for
sorry.
a bomb
I'm sorry.
against a former De La Salle
Long
Spartan.
summer though.
Do not. I will leave
I
if you do that
apologize.
again.
That's my fault. I'm sorry.
I will
It was
leave
too perfect.
if you do that again. As we move over to the A's with Chris,
Yeah.
the A's took 1 of 3 from the Astros, and now they are facing the Rays. They beat the Rays yesterday 3-0. They have 2 more games against the Rays in Tampa, so hopefully the A's can keep it rolling. Speaking of the Yankees, Miguel Andujar, former Yankee, had a great game with a home run, 3 RBIs to help the A's beat the Tampa Bay Rays. But when you talk about the Oakland Athletics, you're either talking about a couple things. You're talking about Sacramento, you're talking about Vegas, or you're talking about Mason Miller. And whether or not Mason Miller will still be on this team, and I'm leaving out John Fisher.
I thought you were going to say they're announcers. But that's
That's
a different conversation.
Not that either. And the question is whether or not Mason Miller will still be on this team. John Heyman sat down with Bleacher Report during a live stream to give his thoughts on what's going to happen to the elite closing pitcher.
Is Mason Miller a realistic trade option? You know what? I've talked to several executives about this today, this very day, and they think that Oakland's going to listen. Most of them guess that they think they will keep him. Of course, most of them say they hope or they think that they should trade him. We're talking about a guy who's Craig Kimbrell in his prime. You know, you get Craig Kimbrell with 6 years, who's in his early 20s with 6 years of control. That is a huge value. So, Oakland trades Mason Miller. Normally the belle of the ball, the star of the deadline is not a relief pitcher. In this case, it may well be a relief pitcher, Mason Miller, who throws 103.7 miles per hour. At least he's hit that. So I'm going to say he does throw 103.7 miles per hour. Is Mason?
There it is.
Yeah. It's so interesting. It really does kind of bring up, especially in baseball, I feel like it's pretty unique to this. Like the A's, well, I guess it depends on who you have the conversation with, but I would say the A's are probably not viewing this as any sort of window. This is not a winning window for them at the moment. And so it's like, okay, yeah, you do have this promising young guy that you have tons of team control over, and it makes sense to want to keep him. But at the same time, is it more beneficial to you to essentially use that one and try and maybe get 3 or a couple, whatever, more than one good young players out of it? Because I'd imagine Mason Miller can get you any team's top prospects, right? Like you better leave with at least 1, hopefully 2 of their top 5 prospects.
Yeah, I was talking to a buddy of mine who's an A's fan this past weekend, and obviously he doesn't want to move off Mason Miller, but my thought process is the thing about Mason Miller, you're going to get so much for him. And Josh Parkhurst on the Sack Chat is kind of saying the same thing. I'm a lifelong A's fan, and I would trade Miller while his value is up.
Right.
And his health, I don't think is sustainable. That's what Josh said. Well, we don't know these days with these Tommy Johns and Labrams and everything like that. But
look at Edwin Diaz right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think you have to do it, but you do it in a way where you're getting guys that maybe have had a cup of coffee in Major League, in the bigs, right? You don't want anyone too young. I think you want guys that are pretty close to getting the call up here, and they'll get the call up with the A's. I don't know if there is a current MLB player that is pretty decent that you could throw in the mix too, that you can just make this lineup better. Sure, but I don't see a way. I don't see a reason, and I think Whitey said the same thing when we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. You don't need a closer when you're not good.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need a closer this season.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and somebody else said, "Oh, I'd love to see him in Sacramento next season." Well, so would I.
Great. Yeah.
But I just don't know that I don't know that that's going to happen, and I don't know that that's a smart thing to happen, because you need a closer when you're in close games.
Right.
If the A's aren't in a ton of close games and you're losing these games anyway, you
taking
have
miles away.
Yeah,
from him, right?
you have to start to position, because the whole thing is we are going to get talent. We are going to accumulate talent as we get ready for this move to Vegas. Who, by the way, did you see that picture? There was Casey Pratt posted it. There was a septic tank somewhere in as they are tearing down Tropicana, and the whatever the machine is fell into it.
Let's see. The Tropicana demolition guys found out about the old septic tank underneath the port. What? Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my God. It's like a whole piece of machinery sunk into the earth.
Yes. Yeah.
How does one remove?
I don't know. You got to get a machine for the machine. Call the Transformers.
Oh my gosh. Well, that very much is very A's. That's very much of this situation. So that is absolutely hilarious. I mean,
I'm torn on this. I would love Mason Miller to stay, and he is exciting is an understatement when you throw almost 104 miles per hour.
I wonder if we'll have to ask our guy Frankie if maybe the Yankee. I mean, I know they got Volpe, Jason Dominguez has been a name that they've had out there for a minute. Yankees could probably use some relief.
Frankie,
come on.
Make it happen.
Franco Cardo.
Make it happen, Frankie. We know you're connected. Speaking of baseball as well, we gotta get to it, but the Negro League stats will be integrated into the Major League Baseball database, and Josh Gibson will now be Major League Baseball's all-time career leader in batting average, slugging percentage, and OPS. And that came out yesterday from Bob Nightingale. Obviously, it goes without saying. I mean, you've seen me wear the shirt during this show, the Negro League shirt. It goes without saying that these guys, they needed to be represented in some way. Yeah. And is this way going to be perfect? I don't know. But, when you're in a situation where there's just this whole realm of players that just weren't
being ignored.
Yeah, just being ignored. Sometimes you have to just make a move and make sure that they are represented. And is anything perfect? No, especially when it comes to Major League Baseball. Right. So I will take this all day, every day, and just always going to shout out the Negro Leagues and everything that they did for baseball in general. When we come back, Bronny, is he staying in the draft? We have that report, and he's too good to work out for your team? Really? Only a couple? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. But one of the quirky things about the A's record so far is the way the A's have played a third of the way into the season against the National League. Yes, they haven't played the Phillies or the Dodgers or the Giants, but still, the A's are 10-5 against the senior circuit, minus 16 against the American League. And speaking of the Dodgers, they come to the Coliseum the first weekend in August.
Want more speed? Well, Xfinity just increased their internet speeds, and they're faster than ever. It's time to get more out of your internet with faster speeds from Xfinity. Now through June 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for only $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. That's double the speed for the same great price. Click, call, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and other charges extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
You see the TV commercials, everybody wants this car, the all-electric Kia EV9. Well, my friends at Elk Grove Kia have it on the lot today, and you could be driving it for only $499 a month. That's right, the 2024 North American Utility Vehicle of the Year. The all-electric Kia EV9 can be yours right now at Elk Grove Kia for only $499 a month. The summer sales event is going on right now at Elk Grove Kia and the Elk Grove Auto Mall. Everything. I would love to be driving a brand new car this summer, or maybe even just a car that's new to me. Well, guess what? Your credit won't be an issue out here at Elk Grove Kia. Everyone's approved. And Elk Grove Kia is committed to providing excellent customer service and getting you behind the wheel of a vehicle you're going to love. They go above and beyond the average dealerships. You're not going to find this kind of experience in Roseville or Vacaville or Sacramento or Davis, only at Elk Grove Kia. That's why they have so many 5-star reviews. Come visit the showroom, see for yourself. Elk Grove Kia is in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, or check out what they got on the lot right now anytime online at elkgrovekia.com. One at this price, $3,500 down, plus taxes and fees.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this, because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
In a world where everybody and their mother makes a primed trim board, contractors have to ask one question. Do I know what's under the primer? Available at just about every lumber yard you can imagine. Vintage trim boards are made from lodgepole pine. That's the stuff telephone poles and railroad ties are made of. It's durable. It's straight. It's been doing the job for generations. Manufactured right here in the USA. Ask for it by name. VintageTrimboards.com.
Whitey here reminding you that not all gas grills are created equal. Bring out all the delicious flavors in your grilled meats with the amazing Napoleon Prestige and Prestige Pro line of outdoor cookers. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro with features other grills cannot match. They're built different, built better, built to last. Made with premium stainless steel that boasts quality and a lifetime warranty. I may never want to cook indoors again. Napoleon grills and accessories are now available at your nearby Amy's, Ace Hardware in Sacramento, and now El Dorado.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sacktown Sports. Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Just letting this ride.
You ever play drums?
No. Well, when I saw Drumline,
yeah, everyone tried.
No.
You know those big buckets that have, what is it, Simone? Laundry detergent, the empty white buckets that would have a bunch of laundry detergent.
Are you talking about from the movie or in life generally?
The Bucket Boys. They do the Kings games.
Yes,
just like,
so
you know,
I would have a
Home
bucket.
Depot buckets. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Paint
get a
bucket.
bucket.
Identify it
Paint
as a
buckets.
Home Depot bucket.
Yeah.
Yep.
A Home Depot bucket, and I would rock out. Yeah.
Well, you had a little, like, I thought I heard like a.
Oh yeah,
a
no,
nice
I mean I spend a lot of. I have
drum.
all the drum line.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got all the sensibilities.
Oh yeah,
of
I have them all.
Cannon.
I have them
That's
all
for sure.
Just in wall
memorized.
sits,
Yeah,
just for fun.
yeah.
Really
What was it?
Really quickly. I need to know your guys' instruments on GarageBand.
Ooh,
you know what I was.
I couldn't do
Lead
the drums.
singer.
The drums was tough.
Come on,
Yeah.
you already know the answer.
I thought he might be the percussionist. If
Yeah,
he's
that's
asking
right.
about the drums.
No,
What
it
were
was
you,
too
Chris?
tough. I did the either guitar or bass, mainly bass,
Ooh,
just because bass
slapping
was
the
easiest.
bass?
Yeah, guitar. Yeah, I mean, I had some Guitar Hero experience, but there was
Mm-hmm.
usually always somebody in there who was like absolutely ridiculous at
Right.
Guitar Hero.
I'll put Guitar Hero in the same category as ping pong and basketball. Okay, sports. No,
Wait,
hold
what?
on.
Yeah, let's
hold on.
re-rack.
No, hold on.
Land the plane.
Yeah, I'll land it. There are certain activities that you think that you're pretty good at.
Okay.
And then you see someone that lets you know you stink.
Right.
And GarageBand, or not GarageBand.
Yes.
Rock Band is one of the, I was on GarageBand too.
Yeah. Rock Band and Guitar Hero were
Guitar
two
Hero.
Very much like, oh, okay, yeah, you can do the fifth one, and when you're strumming, it just sounds like an AK's going off or something.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
no,
right.
I was
Thank
not
you
that
for
guy.
entertaining.
The music was pretty, or like the singing was pretty easy because you didn't actually have to know the words. You just kind of had to. Yeah, exactly.
Now,
Simone, what were you?
I had all brothers, so they definitely put me as the lead singer too.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, we needed some harmony.
Yeah,
that's right.
The drums were tough, man. I just couldn't get the foot pedal.
Yeah, it was tough.
It's just like, it's tough enough for me to hit the right one, and then I got to step, and it's just, yeah.
All these years later, now you're going to hit the post on Friday.
Oh, no.
There you go.
No.
As Bronny James and his camp announces that they are staying in the draft. He is staying in the draft. But not only did they announce that he is staying in the draft, Chris, time for that tinfoil hat again. Only 2 teams Bronny is working out for. Let's hear who those 2 teams are.
Yeah, Bronny James has over 10 workout invites during the pre-draft process, but I'm told he's only going to visit a couple of those, and that's going to include the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns. The Suns have the number 22 overall pick in the draft. He's under consideration there among, obviously, a lot of players at 22, but it's going to come down to the development plan. It's going to come down to guaranteed money, whether it's late in the first round, in the second round. But the fact that there's only going to be a couple teams, 2-3 teams that Bronny James visits, and the Lakers and Suns, interestingly, are among the 2 teams.
This is the same conversation as the Jimmy Butler conversation to me, right? There comes a time where obviously Bronny is represented by Rich Paul and Clutch, and LeBron can come out and say he wants to do his own thing, and Bronny can say he wants to do his own thing, and he just wants to do it the right way, work through this, work through that. So when you come out and you say, but they're saying something but doing another, because if this wasn't Nepo baby, who in their right mind who's going to be drafted this low would say, I'm not working out for all these other teams, I'm only working out for a couple teams, and then say, or prior to saying, we're not taking a 2-way contract. We're not doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't care. Look, the Nepo baby thing, people do it all the time.
Right.
And I don't care. But let's just be honest about the situation here. I saw one. Did you see this? I don't think the movie was very good, but my twin, Idris Elba. So what happened is Idris Elba, his daughter, wanted to be in this movie. I think it was, I don't know if there were dinosaurs. It was some type of monster. Right?
I know what you're
And basically Idris Elba told people that his daughter kind of said, hey, I want this spot. You know what I mean? I want to be your daughter in the movie or whatever. And Idris Elba made her audition and she didn't get the part.
Yeah.
And people kind of felt like, what are you doing, man? Just let your daughter play the
step on
part.
it up, yeah.
And he said, no, I want her to earn what she
yeah.
wants to earn. And that's how we're going to do things here. And I think it's stupid. I think that's very dumb. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of your right as someone who's kind of in that position. And I shouldn't say right, but like, it's your if you have a position of power and you decide to leverage that position of power, like, I guess there's I don't love it, but I do think it is the reality of the situation. Like, that's just kind of how life is. There's a lot of people who get opportunities that they probably shouldn't get for whatever reason. Sometimes it is nepotism. Sometimes it's whatever.
Right place, right time.
Right place, right time. Sometimes it's who whatever. Yeah, I mean, I think the Bronny situation is absolutely insane. I think the Idris one, I like to hear it, but yeah, if I'm Idris Elba's daughter or if I'm his nephew, whatever, I'm like, hey man, like, can you just help me out? Everybody else does it. Why do you have to be the exception?
Just for context, are you talking about the 2022 classic film Beast?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it was Beast. I'm pretty sure it was Beast. My goal in life is to make my kid and future kids Nepo babies. They can still do their thing, but that just means that
you're living the
successful.
American dream at that point, right? Isn't that the American dream? Is that you can put your kids in a situation that they can do whatever they want?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, we'll talk about this more in the
And
summer.
look,
there's some integrity. There's some, there's a lot of ethical things we could cook.
Actually, Joe Buck just came out earlier this week or last week, and he said if people think that I got my job because of my dad and that passed, they're not wrong. But I don't care because I still did a good job once I got into the situation. Right. But if you have an opportunity to give your kids a leg up on the competition, maybe the leg up to Idris was just her getting the audition. Because maybe she wasn't good and she didn't even deserve the audition. I don't know.
Maybe that's his way.
But if that's Toddler Styles, you in that movie. You the star. I'm not playing, man. You are the star. We will convince somebody that you are good enough. And now you have Bronny trying to convince people that he's good enough. I mean, 22 would be insane. He could go before Zach Edey.
They're talking first round. That's
why the Sun. That's why it was the Suns.
Because I was trying to look for the Suns' second round pick, and I was like, where is their second round?
But then to get into the tinfoil hat, are we saying that now LeBron is gonna go join KD and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal?
That part.
Oof, hold on, wait. I can go.
There's no way that money works.
I can go real tinfoil hat for a second here.
Please do.
Let me just confirm that this is correct. And you know who the Phoenix Suns GM is? Who? James Jones. James Jones is a former longtime teammate of LeBron James. And so who is the only other team that is talking? We hear 10 teams miraculously out of nowhere. 10 teams want to talk to Bronny, but only 2 will put their names to it.
Yeah.
One of them has LeBron James. The other one is a GM that there are just type in James Jones and LeBron. There's multiple pictures of them, teammates hugging it out. I know they had some of the best relations. Like those 2 are incredibly close. I don't think it's a coincidence that the only 2 names are incredibly linked with them.
My. What tangled webs we weave.
Because there's no 22.
I don't know how that money works. I don't know how that money works.
22 is nuts.
And first of all, this whole conversation is ridiculous because LeBron James joining, they would probably, I was going to say move off of KD, but I don't know if Devin Booker, LeBron James, and Bradley Beal even win in the West.
Probably not.
I don't think I think you need KD.
Yeah, I would think
there's no way that money is allowed unless, and then. Because didn't we look this up last week? The Lakers have to because it's a player option. It's something where he just can't take less money. It was something like that we read.
That was Brian Windhorst. Like it was kind of a misunderstanding. He was talking about if it had to be via sign and trade, but this would be a situation. I mean, this is more tying into what we talked about earlier to what you just laid out with KD. I think this would have to be LeBron takes a minimum.
Yes,
right?
LeBron opts out
and then
takes a minimum to go. Club Phoenix.
Oh my
Club
gosh.
Phoenix.
That music is going to blow out your eardrums.
Thumping.
And you got Bronny there who's going to get
loud techno.
2 minutes. Bronny's going to get 2 minutes a game.
Oh, yeah.
4.8, right? 4.8?
Oh.
4.9.
You can get a ring.
I believe I just saw that. I know he doesn't want to do a 2-way, but I think Phoenix just became the final team to get a G League team as well, an actual affiliated G League.
He's not going to be a 2-way player. Stop it.
He said he wouldn't.
Allegedly, that's the whole point, right?
Do you want to get better or
G
not?
League to sell out every game, right?
So you go from Woj saying that he's going to sell out G League arenas to then the camp saying, well, he's not going to take a 2-way deal.
Yep.
I can't wait for this.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a nightmare. I can't wait for him to not get drafted. Watch 55 come and the Lakers don't take him and he goes undrafted, which is probably what should happen. Like if you're gonna be picked 55,
look, LeBron ain't Idris. LeBron ain't Idris. He's gonna make sure Bronny gets what he gets. Coming up next, Chris has some fun with us and fair or foul. And if you're a fan of Chipotle, you're gonna want to hang around. After that, we get back into some Niners talk with Jauan Jennings signing a 2-year deal and what this means for Ricky Pearsall. and much more. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And Logan Ryan picks him up. Looks like they're playing man. LaPorte is over there as well. It's 5 out. It's empty on 4th down. Goff back. Not going to get out to his right, being chased. Throws, and it is incomplete. The 49ers take over on 4th down again.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or e-gift card. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
The news on vapes talks a lot about the technology and teen use. But parents need to know more about the dangers of nicotine. So know this. 1. Nicotine is a poison that can rewire teens' brains. 2. It can increase mood swings. 3. It can limit attention and learning. So even when it comes in new tech, nicotine is brain poison. Go to undo.org for more.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, summer is our season. And we're kicking it off with a free 12-ounce Island Punch smoothie for National Flip Flop Day. Grab your flip-flops and head to your local cafe on May 29th from 2 to 7 p.m. Terms and conditions apply.
Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
Talking to Emil Fergoso, our Sacktown Sports Niners insider. Asked the question, did the money that Jauan Jennings get feel a little hot, a little expensive for a number 3 wide receiver? Emil said, not for Jauan Jennings. Not for Jauan Jennings. Again, $15.4 million, including $10.5 million guaranteed. And that keeps Jauan Jennings here for the future. Ricky Pearsall and Debo and they got a whole crew.
Yeah.
They can make a basketball team.
Right.
Great stuff.
They're right there. Yeah.
Great
Still
stuff.
got Danny Gray, too.
Oh, yeah, Danny Gray. And someone said he looked good in camp.
Well, of course.
Of course he looked good in
Ronnie
camp.
Bell.
Ronnie Bell. Ronnie
The list
Bell.
just keeps going on.
Is there any more?
Chris Conley.
Chris Conley.
I don't know if he's still with the team, but yeah.
Hey, bring him back.
We'll see.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
More receivers.
Yeah. Cam Latu. Tight end.
Why
not?
Have enough hands.
You can't.
I guess.
All hands team.
All hands on
There
deck.
you go. Thank you to Emil as we get into some fair or foul. And Chris is really excited about one in particular.
Mhm.
We're going to make you wait for it and get through some of these others.
If we must. So we're going to start with which one would you like to start with, Alan? Do you want to do Jeff Teague or do you want to do Tyrese Halliburton?
Jeff Teague.
Okay. This one is, by the way, when we talk about player podcasts, I feel like the Jeff Teague podcast is not brought up enough. To me, at least clip-wise, I will say I've never listened to
Is he retired?
I think so.
Okay.
I think like an unofficial retirement situation for Jeff Teague. But dude is hilarious. Like his clips are top tier from the podcast. Again, never listened to the full thing, so I'm assuming it's probably not as great to hear. I don't even know how long they go for, but he is hilarious. Maybe the funniest NBA player I've heard in a while. And had, I don't know if it's spicy, had an interesting take on where Chris Paul stands in terms of kind of the point guard hierarchy of everything. Here's what he had to say, comparing him to one of the all-time greats. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's a tweet. I'm sorry. It's not audio. Sorry, Simone. I know I probably scared you there. Alan, do you have the tweet in front of you?
Yeah, I got
loading it up right now.
Chris Paul is just as good as Allen Iverson. His career is better than Allen Iverson's. That is from Jeff Teague.
And that's tough, man. Like I think it's Chris Paul is both, I guess I would consider, I was going to say he's both overrated and underrated. I just think like I don't know if a lot of people would have Chris Paul in their top what is he top? He's probably a top 5 point guard. I feel like people are comfortable saying, but I think you're going to put Magic, Isaiah. Well, maybe you might have him better than Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah's got the 2 rings. John Stockton, when you look at the numbers, I mean, to me, that's probably the most apples to apples comparison with Chris Paul, because both of which don't have rings. Stockton, of course, at least went to the finals, but, you know, Stockton's got the crazy lead in steals all time, obviously has the assist record as well. Chris Paul was probably a better scorer, was a better shooter. But even then you could argue, you know, Stockton played in today's era. What would his numbers look like? It's an interesting conversation, but in terms of Allen Iverson, I don't even really think of the two in the same category, because just they did things completely different ways. It's like, you know, AI was obviously such a score first guy, and CP was all about setting people up and, you know, kind of the leadership part of it, even though it rubbed a couple people the wrong way. I think as a talent, Allen Iverson clearly is one of a kind. And, you know, I don't even know what to consider him when it comes to the point guard hierarchy, almost because I almost view him more of a shooting guard. Is he better than Chris Paul? I don't know. I don't think his career is necessarily better.
So this is just stats straight up, right? And obviously Allen Iverson went to the one finals, right. And I mean, you could argue Chris Paul definitely played with better players.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Than Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson in 914 games averaged 26.7 points, 3.7 rebounds, 6.2 assists. You have Chris Paul, who's played 1,272 games, averaging 17 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 9.4 assists per game. When it comes to their accolades, Allen Iverson obviously in the Hall of Fame, but Chris Paul will be 11-time All-Star, 4-time scoring champ, 3-time steal champ, 7-time All-NBA, Rookie of the Year, All-Rookie Team, 2-time All-Star MVP, 75th Anniversary Team, and 2001 MVP. Chris Paul, 12-time All-Star, 5-time assist champ, 6-time steal champ, 11-time All-NBA. He was Rookie of the Year. He was All-Rookie, 9-time All-Defensive Team. And he was the All-Star MVP in 2013. And obviously he was part of the 75th Anniversary Team as well. I mean, yeah, if it's impact versus the actual player, sure, Chris Paul has more accolades.
Yeah.
Right? But the 9-time All-Defensive Team is kind of nuts to me.
That's what I was going to say. To me, that's definitely the thing that makes it almost not even a conversation. If you're going to add two sides of the court there, I mean, AI is a 4-time scoring champ. CP's a 5-time assist champ. He's also a 6-time steals champ as well, where Allen Iverson is only 3 times, 7-time All-Star for AI, 12-time for CP. You know, both were the 75 anniversary team. I just kind of feel like it, especially looking at all the accolades, I do feel like it's kind of Chris Paul by a mile. And I think, you know, AI definitely has the culture piece to it as well. You know, I think correctly mentioning that CP's teammates vastly better than anything that AI had, you know, maybe with the exception of end of the year or end of his career, Carmelo. But, you know, AI wasn't the same guy at that point. He was playing in his prime. He was playing with Eric Snow, Dikembe Mutombo, you know, slower paced.
Aaron McKee, shout out Temple,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and he was scoring like a third of their points. They were averaging like 93 points per game, and AI was averaging 33. So they just went at it completely different ways. But you know, I think when you factor in the totality of everything CP brings, the point guard, I mean, I just think he's ahead of AI. I just don't know where you put Chris Paul in terms of the pantheon of all-time greats. I don't know if he's, like I said, I don't think a lot of people are going to have him better than Magic Johnson. I don't think a lot of people are going to say he was better than John Stockton. I have a hard time believing, especially the people who were there, that they're going to say that Chris Paul was better than Isaiah Thomas. I think everyone would have expected Chris Paul to win a championship too.
916, especially with the teams that he played with, right? 916, did Chris Paul ever carry a team who was AI's Robin? Right.
Absolutely.
So Chris Paul has better stats, but he was never the guy.
Yeah. But also, I mean, that you could also maybe make the argument of longevity versus peak. Like Allen Iverson's peak, absolutely, I would say was better than or more impactful. He had a higher standing in the league than when Chris Paul, I would say, ever did at his peak. But Chris Paul's 38 years old. He's been doing this since he was 20. Like the longevity of how long Chris Paul has been at the top of his game. It wasn't until last season really where he dipped below 14 points per game, which was, he came into the league as a 16-7 guy. And it wasn't until his second year in Phoenix where he was 14-10. So besides that, he's pretty much been incredibly consistent for about 15 years, and AI just didn't have that. So, it's kind of, I think you can definitely make both sides of the argument, but I think if you're saying who had the better career, I think in terms of the accolades, maybe not in terms of the top end, but I think Chris Paul has him beat.
Yeah, I think Chris Paul can have the better career, but most people like Allen Iverson better.
100%.
And
100,000%.
So it doesn't really change.
Yeah.
These stats, where's my piece? Where's Draper? Give me a piece of paper. This box score doesn't matter to me.
I mean, what, in 10, 15 years, when you're telling your daughter about point guards, you're going to bring up Allen Iverson before you bring up.
Oh, yeah. And I'm going to show her the picture of me with cornrows.
Absolutely.
That's
the
exactly
impact is crazy.
What it's going to be. Coming up next, we finish off our fair or foul with the Chipotle revolution. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. People come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sacktown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SacktownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
The countdown to Miss Twin Peaks 2024 is on. Head over to MissTwinPeaks2024.com to learn about the contest and cast your 5 votes for your favorite Twin Peaks girl.
Sacramento, Dirk Bentley is coming to town.
Hey y'all, this is Dirk Bentley.
Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends.
This is Family. Take my hand, let me make you mine.
It's Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets before they sell out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light.
Hagen Oaks Demo Days is in the home stretch, and this is your last chance to register for an individual fitting appointment with the manufacturer's fitting staff from Ping, TaylorMade, Mizuno, Callaway, Cleveland, Strixon, and Zexio. You've waited many long months for the new golf season, and Hagen Oaks has your new golf gear right now. Book your individual Hagen Oaks Demo Days fitting appointment. Call 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531 for your personal fitting. Hagen Oaks, Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway or HagenOaks.com.
Sponsored by Xfinity. Enjoy the entertainment you love with the Xfinity Stream app. Turn any screen into a TV and take the entertainment you love wherever you go. Xfinity, we connect you to more of what you love.
Stiles and Watkins on Sacktown Sports.
All right. Let's finish up Fair Foul. And this one, we didn't want to rush this because it is something else. So,
it's like a passion project.
Chris, I will give you the floor on this one.
I'll just say this kind of there's a lot of conversation about where this actually started, but it's just kind of become a trend. I think, Chipotle has kind of taken over the fast casual dining experience over the past, I don't know, it's probably been 10 to 15 years that it's kind of really made this really big boom. And, by the time I was in high school, it's almost like that's a staple. Everybody, goes to Chipotle, gets the big burrito, whole 9 yards, all that stuff. And more so, I don't know, I would guess, as all things these days kind of tend to, I would assume this kind of started around the pandemic time. People have noticed, not just me, but I think all of the internet in general has realized Chipotle just not really as big as what it used to be. Felt like you used to go there and get these massive burritos and, it'd be whatever, $8 to $9, maybe 12 if you're really loading that thing up. And, as inflation happens, prices go up and it feels like the food quantity has gone down. And as the internet does, man, they took it into their own hands. And Alan, this all kind of started with, I told you, I think yesterday, that I saw a video over the weekend of this new trend. And I will admit here, I've done some digging into, like I hear, I've noticed Chipotle giving less. People have talked about it. What is there's multiple YouTube videos on how to maximize your Chipotle order. Don't order on the app because you don't see them do it. And there's part of a human element of you watching them scoop adds more flavor and they don't want to disappoint you, all this stuff. So people have done crazy digging and research into how to maximize your Chipotle order. And Alan, I told you, I think it's reached a tipping point here where I can no longer just sit back and allow people to do this. Because there's a video going around of essentially a life hack. Hey, here's a life hack on how to maximize your Chipotle order. Film the people. Just have your phone in front of the glass and act as if you are filming the Chipotle workers. Fill up your bowl to essentially it's not blackmail, I guess is the thought is that you're shaming them.
They're daring them to
underscoop you.
Which is so funny because they have no clue. They have no clue if you have a large following. They have no clue
if you're sending it to your uncle, if you're on FaceTime.
Exactly. They have no clue, but nowadays you never know who has these followers, so you got to be careful.
And I guess the thought is just peer pressure them into giving you as much food as possible. And that's kind of where this thing kind of went off the rails on our end. And we kind of, we go into deep conversation. And then you tell me, this all kind of started with a guy that we've talked about in the past with food reviews, our friend Keith Lee. And that's where I'll pass the mic to you.
So Keith Lee basically, because I saw this whole thing unfolding and I had issues back in Alameda where there's a specific person that she would change the rules every time we would go.
That's crazy.
She would charge for vinaigrettes, but then sometimes she wouldn't. So I already had
sometimes they'll tell you have to get a salad. Right?
So I already had my own beef, but Keith Lee ordered Chipotle because he's like, it's been a while and I'm hearing this talk. And he gave them a 2 out of 10. And he said one of his bowls was cold. The other one only had a couple pieces of chicken. And then once Keith Lee got after it, that's when the whole videoing and shaming and we have audio of the revolution kind of took off, and this thing is just ridiculous now.
Chipotle is getting canceled after Keith Lee made a review about their portions, which may have started a revolution against Chipotle.
Lately, Chipotle have not hit the same.
Fall off of Chipotle.
We talk about the downfall of Chipotle.
Outrageously small portion sizes.
After Keith Lee ordered food from Chipotle, he rated them 2 out of 10 as one of them was cold and the other one had only 2 pieces of small chicken.
This is a 2 out of 10.
Chipotle has been infamous for skimping on their food for a while now. And following Keith Lee video, people decided to do something about it. From rating them 1 star on their online reviews.
Oh, it's time for phase 2. We have phase 1, the reviews.
Walking out before the order is done if the portions were extremely small.
And if the portion sizes aren't top tier, walk out.
Oh man, I'm okay. I'm good.
while others are saying to just boycott it because their prices continue to go up even though their portion sizes are getting smaller.
Just look at this. This is supposed to be a large.
What is this? How is this $20?
While others are choosing to opt out from eating out and create their own Chipotles at home. And even when asking for seasoning, they get charged $2 for this much.
Yeah, that was a crazy pronunciation.
So,
if you didn't catch that.
I don't even know where to start. The phase, now it's time for phase 2.
The phase 2 is crazy.
Yeah, phase 2 was the ratings, I guess.
This is like Splinter Cell guerrilla warfare.
Can I just say,
people are mad.
Bless everyone out there, but if you walk out because Chipotle isn't giving you, if you just say, nah, I'm good, actually, you can keep that bowl for yourself. Like, what do we do? I'm sorry, but that's at the point where I'm like, what do we do?
So many TikToks with that.
That's disgusting.
Where people get the scoop of rice or beans, and if it's not the same, they're just walking away.
What do y'all think this is?
Yeah. This has been going on for a really long time, though. Right? And there was the whole, because then there were hacks, and then from TikTok or wherever, and then Chipotle wouldn't let you do the hacks.
Yeah.
Once you got to Chipotle, or hey, we're not allowing you to do that stuff. I mean, the bottom line, and my whole take on Chipotle, I don't know if we ever talked about it here on the show. I
don't think so.
Because I know somebody is texting right now or on the Sac chat or wherever saying, how can you get Chipotle in California? We have some of the best Mexican food. And I've always said Chipotle, for me, it's the same thing as McDonald's versus a barbecue.
It's owned by them.
I think so, yeah. I think
McDonald's owns Chipotle?
Yeah, I think they
well, there you go.
The consistency.
Well, it's the same idea. Sometimes I have a taste for a well-crafted burger.
Right.
Sometimes I have a taste for McDonald's.
Exactly.
Sometimes I have a taste for really good, authentic Mexican food.
Yep.
Sometimes I have a taste for Chipotle. It's always been that simple to me. But and I'll be honest with you. I go to Chipotle, I don't know, once every couple weeks. There's been some times where it's a little skimpy, but I've never. To talk about phase 2 like this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to talk about Chipotle as if you were just being slighted and disrespect. It just never happened to me.
I think this is bro culture that ruined it, honestly. I think it's all the dudes who walked in, after the gym, and they got that massive pump, and they're like, double chicken, double rice, double beans, double Chipotle. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, if that's how everyone's going to order and it's like $2 extra, you kind of ruin the fun for everybody else. And, it's not, I see, Beam Team here saying Panda has been skimping. Yeah. I'm sure it's not just a Chipotle.
But when I go to Panda, I never have any complaints.
No.
Right? Okay, so you know what I was thinking? You know what they're going to have to do? In Utah, the bars in Utah, and this is
that's
the bar
right.
rescue.
Yes.
When it's like the clicker on the bottle,
it's disturbing.
And it'll count out.
It stops pouring.
Yes,
it will stop pouring after the perfect measurement.
Exactly. Yeah. They're gonna have to do that with Chipotle.
I think so. I mean, it's an easy solution instead of having like a spoon. Because they use the spoon that.
And then their hands start shaking.
That's the problem. They start
then the chicken, and then I'm like, no, you're good there.
Keep that.
And then they go like, and then the pieces start flying off. I'm like, what? What's the point of that?
Yeah, it's just disrespectful.
What's the point of that?
It's just disrespectful. They're going to tell you that, oh, no, we just don't want your burrito being too juicy.
No.
And it's like, no, you're trying to get rid of like those 5 chickens. Right?
But I'll tell you what, this was a Chipotle in Alameda, and this woman had it out.
You had a spot, didn't you?
I had. Well, it was across the street. It was across the street.
Okay, that makes it
so we
better.
would go just super quickly, and every time it was just something else. There was one where they had the They had the chicken al pastor that they're doing right now. So I go and they only have it sometimes. So I really wanted it. And she says, oh, it's not done right now. They're cooking it in the back. And instead of saying, do you want to wait? Just
like
letting
5 minutes
me know. She just said,
no, not going to be able to do it.
What do you want?
What else?
What else do you want? And of course, under my breath, I said, well, you could ask me if I want to wait.
Right.
But I'll just take the normal thing. And then proceeded to try to charge me for the vinaigrette. And I called my little sister immediately.
Like you got beef.
I'm like, has this happened to you before? She said, no, I think it's a problem. And I'll tell you what, the Chipotle's out here, they've been good to me.
Good. Yeah.
I haven't had any problems. I haven't needed to.
I think I heard too.
No phase 2.
No phase 2. That's crazy. I think I heard too that they're going to start doing drive-throughs as well.
Yeah. There's one in the one in Natomas.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
it's I forget what it's called, but it's got a funny name. Chipotle. The
Chipotle
way or something.
Yeah, right. I was like,
yeah,
Chipotle way.
But they already have it.
The only
feel
time
like that's going to make things
the only time I ever had to walk out, and it wasn't no one started making food or anything, but I did have to walk out on principle from Chipotle because I used to get a cheese quesadilla there.
Yeah.
And then they only made that accessible. I could only
Online,
order it through
That's
the
weird.
app.
That's so
I was
weird.
like, guys, you guys got all the materials,
there.
all the things you need. Let's
Yeah.
just make this happen.
Yeah.
And I had to walk out.
No, that's fair. That's totally fair because that's just ridiculous.
916.
That's my
My
revolution.
main thing is why are employees skimping us? They're not ownership unless they're being incentivized to
That's
do
what
so.
I never understood.
Or
yeah.
just cook at home. That is from Esteban. I know there's one Chipotle employee listening right now. You
Please.
can call in.
Yeah.
But
Do
Esteban,
the right thing.
Yeah,
I
let us
think-
know your location.
I think what it is it's more work, right? The more chicken you give, the sooner you have to cook and cut
Right.
more chicken.
I
That
could
would
also see like your boss being upset. Hey guys, we're giving out too much.
Right, right.
You'll
It's
never
a
get in
lot-
trouble for giving out too little.
Exactly. And real quick, before we get to crosstalk, real quick, I asked this to both of you during our pre-show. What is the rule? Let's move away from Chipotle in general. What is the rule on when food is now your responsibility? Basically, this happened a long time ago. Me and wifey, we were at a restaurant. We ordered something. We misread something on the order. It was a sit-down place. So then as soon as this person came back, maybe 5 minutes later, I said, hey, we actually don't want to do that. They said, sorry, we're already making it. So I just wore it. But what is the rule on when food is now your responsibility?
Chris, go ahead. Lead off.
I don't know if I have a good answer for that. I think it's probably I think that just kind of ends up being on a restaurant to restaurant basis. Like
I
that
could have
sounds
been like, I don't care.
yeah. I mean, they probably could have been cooler about it.
Yeah.
For sure. I feel like thrown out meals that's
And I also think they were
regular.
But I'm telling you, I think they were
occurrence.
lying. I also think they were lying.
Oh, for sure.
The key here is it's the hospitality industry, right?
Totally.
So I've worked many years in the hospitality industry, and there has to be this nuance of being able to, make the customer happy, but also, not get totally defiled in your service. But in that case, I would totally amend it and try and rectify whatever the situation is, especially if you don't know what kind of dietary restrictions or allergies are at play. So yeah,
great point.
I let it go. It was an app, but
come on, fair or foul. You guys got
that's foul to me.
I think it's foul.
I'm not going to leave.
I'm out on leave. To me, leaving is the craziest thing.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
I would much rather have somebody. I'll laugh at you, but if you film the Chipotle workers, it's whatever. I'll just think you're an extra person. If you walk out of a Chipotle, you got something wrong with you.
What about me? I just told you I walked out.
I'm saying if you walk out because
So
of
basically,
the portion, you're not okay with the portion.
So everybody
fair.
is videoing
That's
Chipotle,
nuts.
making sure that they get enough. All right, from the 916 before we get to crosstalk from Ken and Sac. Chipotle is nasty. Jim Boy's is better. Don't sleep on Jim Boy's burrito
sir.
though.
Oh my God, the
Don't
bean and
sleep.
cheese.
Don't sleep on the Jim Boy's burrito. All
Absolutely
right,
not.
crosstalk up next with the Drive Guys. Stiles and Watkins. Sackdown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Match De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
In a world where everybody and their mother makes a primed trim board, contractors have to ask one question. Do I know what's under the primer? Available at just about every lumberyard you can imagine. Vintage trim boards are made from lodgepole pine. That's the stuff telephone poles and railroad ties are made of. It's durable. It's straight. It's been doing the job for generations.
Manufactured right here in the USA. Ask for it by name. VintageTrimboards.com.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuits seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-439-4252. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-439-4252. That's 800-439-4252. Again, 800-439-4252.
Vapes and cigarettes are responsible for the excessive amount of secondhand smoke in California.
From our sidewalks to our parks, restaurants, offices, and work sites, over half of Californians are at risk of being exposed to thousands of toxic chemicals.
Go to secondhanddangers.org for an action plan to protect yourself and your family from toxic harm that could last a lifetime.
Because even outdoors, there's no such thing as safe secondhand smoke.
Sponsored by Breathe California, Sacramento region.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
Maida Chevy saves you $12,000 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado LT 5.3 liter in stock after rebates. Always 5 to choose from.
Exclusive all in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details and 6324.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Joined by Whitey Gleason.
And Kyle Draper, but he's just over there.
And Kyle Draper.
Who's
afraid of the smoke. It's okay. We won't talk about his stat lines anymore.
That was uncalled for.
That's a shot.
I walked into
no, not you. But it was
yeah.
brought up today.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do something about that.
Yeah.
Hey, what are Dave's numbers? You know, like, come on.
Like I said, we can settle this on the golf course. You know where to find me. You know where to find Whitey Gleason for the next 4 hours. Whitey, wanted to start here with your evaluation of just some of these guys and the morning show yesterday.
The morning show, I like one guy, the other guy I'm not crazy about.
And don't do Jason Ross like that. That's not fair. That's not fair. And they had messed around with, obviously, you're not going to move on from Tyrese Halliburton, but the Pacers have some really talented guards, right? With Tyrese, CJ McConnell, and Nembhard. So Nembhard is up for an extension. Right now, he's only making $2 million. What do you think the ceiling is for that guy?
He's a really good player, but the guy, not to dodge your question, the guy I want from there is the guy that Chris and I both love, Jalen Smith. Who
he can even get any playing time.
No, but do you see what he does when he plays? You saw what he did.
Why couldn't he play?
They like the guys ahead of him more, but he's good. So Nembhard is a really good player. Yeah, I love Nembhard. But I think, when Halliburton was out, Nembhard started, not TJ, as much as everyone loves TJ McConnell.
I do love TJ.
TJ's really good at coming off the bench, but I think Nembhard might be a better player.
I think so. I think that's okay to say.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think Jalen Smith is. I'm not as high, as you know, I'm not as high.
You're pretty high though. I remember.
I think I'm getting to a floor basement level.
Don't like him at all.
I'm getting to the lobby somewhere near there. He's good. I like Nembhard too, and I definitely don't think it's a stretch to say I think Nembhard could definitely be a bigger piece for them than TJ. I love TJ, but ultimately I do think he's just a really good backup point guard, and I think Jalen Smith can be somebody who helps us out. I think we don't really have that stretch five that can go out there and, even if it's not in a playoff series, give you a different look. So I don't think I would necessarily say Jalen Smith on my top five, but if he ends up in Sacramento, I definitely think that's a more than decent piece for sure.
Whoever it is, the Kings got to find that underappreciated player who's capable of a lot more than he's being allowed to give right now, right?
Yeah.
Wherever he is,
yeah,
that's the guy you got to get.
Absolutely. Yeah. Try and get those, try and find the next Malik Monk if you can in a way. Whitey, I had this and I'm curious what both of you have to say about this. I saw this cross my timeline earlier today. Augusta National is going to open up their course. Augusta National is expected to open up the course for 1 week to the public in November of 2025. The rate per player is expected to be $10,000. Augusta National is testing this out to see market demand, and Augusta representative said, "We donate 100% of the funds to our local community." First question for both of you. I think Alan, you golf a little bit in your time. Would you pay $10,000 to go play at Augusta?
But if Alan said, "I'll pay the 20, you'll be my guest," I'm with Alan and we'll go.
Right there. Absolutely. Alan?
10 grand.
Yes. Do you think that's a decent value proposition?
Just to play?
Just to play. That's what it says. Just to play.
You
at
get
Augusta
drinks?
I mean, I hear they're very cheap there. I hear it's very, very cheap on campus. Very cheap.
I mean, if I'm at the
It's
point where
once in a lifetime.
if I'm at the point where my kid is a Nepo baby, then sure.
Hey,
but
there.
as of right now,
I don't know if there's anything I would pay $10,000.
Yeah,
there definitely is, but not that.
The only way I'd even consider it, and I wouldn't be in position to consider it, but I'd have to make sure that, all right, we're not going to have like everybody on the course that day, right?
Right.
Where I'm waiting on the tee box
Yes.
and,
Right. Absolutely. You don't want it to be just like your average golf course. I want it to feel like it's just me out there.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is there anything like, I mean, I guess to further elaborate on that, like, what would be the thing that would be your $10,000 Augusta National trip? What would be your one, I guess you can call it your sports dream, if you will?
It probably gets into that fantasy camp stuff, but like playing pickup with
yeah.
Magic Johnson or something, I might,
Yeah. Well, I know your pickup game with Jay Will didn't go very well.
Oh, I set him up.
Yeah.
I didn't want him to feel bad.
And is that before or after he threw it off the glass?
I don't know what he
did.
I don't know what he did. How about you, Alan? He's facing, I don't know. Nolan Ryan probably still throws like 88.
Yeah,
Probably
I don't
want that.
I want to have fun.
Like hit one over the monster or something.
Yeah, right. Just give me BP. Honestly, a BP at Oracle Park is probably fine.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, to get a splash hit.
That should actually be doable.
It should be.
Yeah.
Well, we're starting with Sutter Health first.
Yeah,
Get the
you
Sutter
heard
Health.
about this? We're trying to get a.
Oh wait, did you not hear about this?
A home run derby, but we're essentially trying to get BP.
Basically,
Sutter
Chris
Health.
doesn't think I can hit one out at Sutter Health.
And if you did, you know what the crowd would do? The fans would scream.
Chris doesn't think I can hit one out, so we're working with the River Cats to get me.
How many attempts do we think it would take, Alan? Because this was also a big sticking point here. Is I think I said 10, and Alan was like 10.
I said, give me
Do
20.
I want to get involved?
How many?
I said 20.
do
I
we
said
want
20.
here?
Give me 20 pitches. 20.
He's a college
20
baseball
swings?
star over here.
20 swings?
20 swings.
20
Yeah,
swings.
okay, yeah.
You think you can do it in 20 swings?
A couple warm-up rounds. And if I hit one during the warm-up round, then it's over.
Then that counts towards but they don't count if he doesn't hit it, then it's just a warm up.
Then they're just warm up.
I would guess not, but I wouldn't be stunned if he did.
You would
When I was
guess
out there the
not.
other day, I was
guess
like, that's
not.
pretty far.
It's three. I think it's 325.
We're talking metal bat.
I'll go. I'll go.
You go wood?
I looked you up on Baseball Reference that time and that cool picture of you. But I don't remember. I looked at your stats. I don't remember if you had any long balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit 300.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's just a launch angle thing, right? If I was playing these days, I mean,
he's not doing it.
He's not doing it.
He's already making excuses.
Fine.
We're gonna hold up first, and that's swing number 20.
We'll get the whiteboard, and we'll have whoever's in which camp.
Yeah.
And whoever's riding with me, if you're not with me, you're against me.
We'll take Jay on. He'll represent the morning show.
That's fine.
And he will beat you guys.
That's fine.
And then I don't know who Dave's.
I might get two.
Poor Dave.
I might get two.
Yeah.
How many swings are we talking?
In the 20.
In the 20. I still feel like 10. I feel like 10's the right number.
No, it's not the right number. I'm coming off an Achilles.
That's true.
2013 was a long time ago.
You're not wrong. But you're getting all the warm-ups and everything,
Chris.
Ballers ball, dude.
Yeah,
Come
ballers
on.
do ball. If I get one in the first pitch, then it's a wrap. Speaking of, got a little chippy here with the Giants and Phillies. Bryce Harper, of course, and my fellow De La Salle alum Kyle Harrison. Kyle Harrison went high and tight to Bryce.
Did he buzz the tower, Alan?
It actually hit the knob of the baseball, but for some reason, I don't know if we missed something, but for some reason, Bryce didn't take too kindly to that, maybe because of his past with the Giants. So bench is cleared.
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah. And
but it was just a bunch of, hey, what's up?
Right.
Did you see last? I think it's that guy Brandon Marsh.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see last night? There was a pitch that he took inside, and Kruko said, "Look at the replay. It hit his beard." And I think it did.
Would that count as a?
It would, but they didn't call it.
It should.
No one knew it, but that would be I mean, even if you get just your sleeve. So, but on the replay, it looked like because his beard kind of woof.
Yeah, it should.
Nice little seams on his beard now.
I can't believe, Whitey, after all this, all the times you said, "Hey, have you looked up Allen? Have you looked up Allen?" And now you're gonna forsake me.
Yeah, pretty much. You're not a power hitter.
I'll remember that.
You're Juan Pierre.
I got dad strength now.
Yeah,
I got
that's
dad
right.
strength
That's right.
now. So
See
all right.
how
So
it goes.
Chris is a no.
I'm a no.
Whitey's a no. I actually don't even know who is in the. I think Frankie.
I think
said
Frankie
yes.
thinks you could do it.
Yeah.
I bet Dave would be on your side.
Frankie's so nice. He would
so
say
nice.
yes
So
no matter
nice.
what.
Right.
Frankie.
Oh,
is
I'm
so
sure
nice.
you could. I don't think you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could do it, man.
Brendan is. I don't know what
I
side
don't know
Brendan's
what
going to be
Brendan's
on.
doing.
All right. Well, thank you for listening.
I bet Jason would do it. Jason would be the type to let everyone do it and have their fun and then just walk up first pitch. Knock it
J-Ross
out.
would pay the $10,000 to play Augusta National and shoot a 74.
Yeah.
And go, I wasn't really putting well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just the
Well,
kind of guy
we'll
he is.
see. Sutter Health, be there.
Yes.
What are we looking for? July? Yeah, July.
Not me.
August, be there. Thank you to all the callers, the texters, the Sack Chatters. Thank you to Simone. Drive Guys up next with Whitey Gleason, and I think Kyle Draper's here. Until tomorrow, secure the bag, like the bean.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line.